Oh my Lord. Are we live? I was just talking to myself for like 2 minutes here. Are we live? The New York Jets just traded Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for two freaking first round picks here. Let me see. First of all, are we live? Shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's see. My gosh, this is absolutely insane. Armand, what's going on, man? Am I live? Can you guys hear me okay? I'm not 100% sure if this is working because it was giving me some issues before. I got to pull up the tweet here, right? Share screen. Let me see. ESPN sources. Can you guys see this? I think so. Yes. Oh my God. Adam Schefter is reporting that the Colts are trading 2 first-round picks to the Jets for cornerback Sauce Gardner. Are you freaking kidding me? Sorry, my phone is going crazy. Sauce Gardner's tweeting. He said, "Thanks for everything, New York." Absolutely insane. Shout out to everyone here hanging. Yeah, 2 first-round picks, bro. Greg, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Kyle, get him out of here. We need them picks. 2 first-round picks. I love it, Muji. I mean, I was not expecting this in the least. I was sitting here thinking it was going to be Quinnen Williams, maybe like a late round pick swap or something like that. Maybe a Breece Hall thing, 3rd round pick, 4th round pick. I did not see Sauce Gardner, who we just signed for he'd technically be a Jet for a very, very long time, right? He signed that big money extension, highest paid corner in football, and he's still on the rookie deal. So it wasn't kicking in this year. It's not kicking in next year. Then the extension kicks in. So my mind is blown. I will say this though, right? Okay, let's try to recap this thing because who saw this coming? I would be stunned if anybody actually saw this coming. I think Matt, what's going on, bro? Hope you're doing well, man. Ian, this is simply devastating. I'm sick. You can't make this trade. It simply doesn't make sense to me. Well, first of all, bro, I appreciate the super chat, man. I really, really do. Really means a lot. Here's the thing, right? Because again, I wasn't seeing this. No, this was not talked about in the slide. This was not even hinted at. No reporter had anything on this. No one talked about, Sauce Gardner potentially in the move. No, it was Bradley Chubb. It was, Jalen Phillips, maybe Chris Olave, guys like that, Breece Hall, a couple other Jets, not Gardner, right? We all know this. So it makes me wonder, did Darren Muji just get this blockbuster deal phone call? Did Gardner it's hard to imagine that he potentially wanted out because he just signed the big money deal. We've seen Gardner play some pretty good football this season. He's had some bad games. He's had some disappointing moments like Buffalo Bills. The Tampa Bay Bucks game was not good, but it seemed like Gardner was playing some better ball as of late. And I can't even believe this. Okay. All right. Rich Samini is reporting the Colts are sending their first round picks in 2026, 2027, and a player here, So the Jets are getting a player. We don't know who it is. Let's try to figure this out, right? Who the hell are we getting? What player are we getting back in return? 2 first round picks for Sauce Gardner. Okay, so here's the deal, right? I think I don't want to undermine Gardner's talent. I don't want to undermine him as a player. But I think if we can slot Azari Thomas, because look, you're not making this trade if you're Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji. You're not moving on from Sauce Gardner, who you just committed all this money to all these years. You're not going to just trade him away because you just, 2 first round picks. Sweet, see ya. That's not going to happen. They have to feel 1,000% comfortable. 1,000% comfortable with who they currently have. Brandon Stevens is playing some really good football as of late. Obviously, we've all seen the impact that Jarvis Brown-Lee has had in the slot. We just moved on from Michael Carter, brought back John Mechie, attacking, I would say, the worst position on the team right now in wide receiver. So I'm interested to see how he progresses. But now, again, Stevens, Brown Lee, Azareye'h Thomas, who at one point in time was mocked to go in the first round. Daniel Jeremiah, all these guys, first round, Azareye'h Thomas to the Buffalo Bills, to the Baltimore Ravens, to the Philadelphia Eagles, all these teams. AZ Thomas, he runs the slower 40 time and his stock starts to slip a little bit. We get to the second round and people are like, okay, probably early to mid day two, early to mid round two player. The Jets pick him up in round 3. He fits the Aaron Glenn system beautifully. From what we've seen from Azareye'h Thomas, I would say limited sample size, right? All things considered, we have to take it with a massive grain of salt, but all things considered, Azareye'h Thomas has looked pretty good. Again, all things considered, understanding that he's a rookie, understanding that he's a third round pick. That to me, man, you don't move off of franchise cornerstones. You just don't do it unless you get great compensation back, which the Jets did. By the way, we're still waiting on the player news. I'm sitting here getting NBA updates. All these tweets are coming in. You don't trade a player like this. I thought if Quinnen Williams got dealt, that was going to be shocking. I would have been floored if he would have got dealt. But Sauce Gardner, I was not expecting this in the least, man. Shane, what's going on, dude? Hope you're doing well. This is great. He's been mid, 2 picks, win, in your opinion? Yeah, plus the player, bro. Plus the player. Okay, Ian Rappaport, the Colts get Sauce Gardner. Okay, this is just contract stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so Ian Rappaport's kind of clearing up the money situation. Let me see if I can pull up that exact tweet here. We can bring this up. All right. Ian Rappaport, here we go. The Colts get Sauce Gardner for the next 5.5 years under a contract worth $131.5 million, taking out what the New York Jets already paid, $625K for the remainder of 2025, and then the average of 26.1 for the next 5 years. So there's a couple ways to look at this. Let's talk about the optimistic side of it first, right? The optimistic side of the coin. And by the way, over 1,000 people over 1,600 people hanging in the chat. Absolutely unbelievable. Guys, I appreciate you guys so much. But my mind is blown. My mind is absolutely blown. So let's take a look at let's just hit on the positives, right? Fact of the matter, the Jets, look at what these players are going for, by the way. Harrison Phillips, random late round pick swap. Jarvis Brown-Lee, random late round pick swap. Jacoby Myers, 4th round pick plus like a late round swap, or I think it was a late round 7th or late round 6th or something. You don't move first round picks are freaking untouchable, pretty much. Geno Smith didn't even, mid-level quarterbacks don't even get moved for first round picks. The Jets just got 2. So we have 2 first round picks after, and look, I don't want to jump the gun here, but it looks like we've hit on Armand Membu. Granted, top 10 pick, one of the better tackles, tackle prospects, and a lot of Jets fans wanted him in the first place, but still, it's looking like the Jets hit a home run there. Awesome. When we get to April, we have two first round picks. Absolutely insane to think about. And granted, the Colts are a good team, so maybe that pick is probably going to be in the 20s or something like that. It's not like we're going to be getting pick 3 and pick 6, obviously, but still, 2 first round picks in 2026 is freaking sweet, man. It's freaking sweet. Then we fast forward to 2027 and we have 2 first round picks again. We're still waiting on the player. Who the hell is it going to be? I wonder if it could be me, if it could maybe be a safety or something, or a wide receiver. Alec Pierce, could it actually be Alec Pierce? Dude, that would be freaking nuts. Beth, what's going on, bro? Feels like Sauce peaked the day he signed his deal. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of Jets fans that have kind of felt like you want to see a little bit more. Inferno, I hope this I appreciate, and Beth, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, dude. Really, really means a lot. Inferno. I hope this ends up being another Jamal Adams trade for us. But this is insane. Colts are betting the house to win the season. Yeah, dude. That you don't deal two first round picks plus a player. If you're not all in, or if you're not sold on Gardner. 24/7 commercial. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well, bro. I appreciate that. Good trade. I would never have imagined 2 firsts for him. Yeah, considering Sauce's lackluster play as of late, I'm good with it. Absolutely insane, dude. I'm out of breath here. Ghost. Salute to you. I'm feeling kind of optimistic. I hate to see Sauce go, but it was great for the compensation. Yeah, and what makes it better is, boom, Azareye'h Thomas is in the lineup. It's not like, oh my God, we now have to spend this first-round pick on a corner. It's not like, oh my God, we have to go invest a $60-70 million contract on the free agent market at corner. We don't have to do it. From a starting lineup perspective, I think, are going to be fine. Now, we're probably going to take a step backwards, a slight step backwards, removing Gardner off the field. And, that's understandable. But 2 first-round picks, man, crazy. And Ghost, thanks so much, dude. Really, really means a lot. Cheese, man. He's giving me Albert Hainsworth. Albert Hainsworth vibes lately. Happy with the move. AZ looks good. Love that optimistic perspective, dude. I wouldn't say Gardner's Hainsworth level, because there were moments where Albert was just laying on the ground, giving up on plays. Dude, I appreciate you, man. Thank you a ton. 2 first rounders, had to do this deal. Love Sauce, but he was often injured. Oh, God, I'm out of breath. My heart is pounding because I'm waiting on this player. Hold on a second. Is this Adonai Mitchell? Is this AD Mitchell right here? Are you guys messing around? Hold on. Because I was literally talking about Mitchell in, I think, a video either yesterday or 2 days ago. AD Mitchell. Dude, oh my God, if this is for real, man, this is an absolute steal for the, I'm not saying, let's see. Rich Samiti. Let's freaking go, dude. 2 first-round picks. And look, I don't want to make it sound like we just, signed Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, right? Mitchell is not that. And there has been some mental lapses as of late, right? There's been some drops. There's been some, supposedly, like, some concentration stuff on the field. But this is another player who is actually expected to go in round 1. Let's pull up his stats. I know they're not great, so this might not be doing him any justice, but we can also pull up his combine numbers, which I think is very, very important to look at, right? Because hindsight, I get it, is always 2020, but it's important to understand that this is a very, very young player. Absolutely insane. Okay, so let me see if I can pull it up on the screen. I might not be able to here. Let's see. Share screen. I can't believe that, dude. I can't believe that. Again, we are hitting on the worst position on the team. Let's see. Share screen to this page. Okay, can you guys see this? Yeah, so the numbers aren't going to look great, right? 2024 at 22 years old, 7 starts, 17 games played, 23 receptions, only 300 receiving yards, no touchdowns. But funny enough, you can actually go, I think it's on YouTube, definitely on Twitter somewhere. You can literally go back and watch, I think it's literally like a 2 to 3 minute montage of AD Mitchell getting open, having wide open touchdowns. Right? All he has to do is walk in another 20 yards if he was delivered an accurate football. But he wasn't. Right? Anthony Richardson, there were problems last season. The offense couldn't really get rolling. Wait a second. We have another freaking trade here. What the hell's going on here? We have another trade. Okay. It's not involving the Jets. Tom Pelissero, the Saints are trading wide receiver Rashid. Wow, Rashid Shaheed is going to the Seattle Seahawks. Darnold's lighting it up. Another weapon for Darnold. Man, I cannot believe we just got Adonai Mitchell and 2 first-round picks. So shout out to everyone who called this, man. You guys are the best. This is freaking nuts. This is nuts. And again, I don't want to make it sound like prime Julio Jones is here, but what the Jets have just done, and let's just forget about the draft for a second. Let's just talk about Mitchell. They added a 6'2", 200-pound wide receiver who's won on the outside back at Texas. Someone who, much like, if you go back and you listen to the draft insiders, first round pick, Buffalo Bills, right? Baltimore Ravens, all these teams at that time that needed a wide receiver, throw Mitchell in there. It was, how many times did you see his name pop up in the first round of mock drafts? Now, why is that relevant, right? Because the Jets have a million first rounders on this defense or really on this team. First round picks don't work out. But here's the thing. Mitchell is still so young. We're looking at it right here. He's 22, or 2024, he was 22. He's 2023 this year. You're telling me a 23-year-old who Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, all these draft insiders expected to go in round 1 at 23 years old, who looked amazing over at Texas. You're telling me that this guy can't get any better? Are you serious? No. Now, there's a chance that he might not work out. There's a chance that he might be, one of these second-round wide receivers that don't work out. Devin Smith, Stephen Hill, Denzel Mims, right? Elijah Moore. There's a chance, for sure. There's a chance. But the Jets are taking a swing on a young player with a high upside at the weakest position on the team. That's the reality. Boom. That's the reality. So within the span of a week, the Jets have added 2 young players at the wide receiver position, both with high upsides, despite what we've seen so far. And here's another thing to make a note of. They're going to be getting playing time. Fact of the matter. Look at Mitchell's numbers right here. And I'm not sure if you guys can see the mouse on your end, but 7 starts in 2024, 1 start in 2025 for Mitchell. 8 games played, obviously, right through. We're at the midway point of the season. Only 16 targets this year, 55 targets last year. He's not the number 1. He's not the number 2 for Indianapolis as far as, overall, as far as a progression. You have guys like Michael Pittman. You have guys like Alec Pierce. It's a run-heavy team with Jonathan Taylor. You look at the offensive line, as well as Tyler Warren coming onto the scene. There's just only so many footballs that can go around. So the fact is, again, a young player with a high upside, lots of potential there, who hasn't really been given a lot of opportunities here. It's not like he has 80 targets. It's not like so far this season he has 42 targets. He's not really getting the ball thrown his way. He's not the number 1. He's not the number 2. AD Mitchell right now, today, the second he gets to Florham Park, he's the wide receiver 2 on the team. What is it? 152 receiving yards with 9 catches, wide receiver 2. That is how bad the Jets wide receiving room is currently. Well, not currently because of this trade, but you guys know what I mean, right? A week, it was funny. I was literally talking to my brother about this yesterday. We had a long car ride, and he's like, dude, and he's not a Jets fan. He goes, the New York Jets wide receiving room is just a disgrace to football. And I kind of laughed a little bit. I'm like, what makes you say that? Because he's not, in the trenches following the Jets rumors. He's not watching the games. But Colts got fleeced. And I'm like, what makes you say that? He's like, Lazard is basically offers you nothing. We know who Josh Reynolds is. He's a wide receiver 4 on 25 teams in football. As much as I like Josh Reynolds, as a wide receiver 4, I don't think he's bad as a wide receiver 4. But he's not a wide receiver 2. And also he's been hurt this season. And there's also been some effort question marks too, coming back to the football, contested catches, winning 50-50s. So you have Josh Reynolds, Lazard. Arian Smith is just a question mark at this point. Garrett Wilson is obviously a stud, and he mentioned that. He's like, Garrett Wilson I love, but he's currently hurt. But that's pretty much it. And so me and him, in the car, we were trying to come up with a solution. And one thing I was telling him, I'm like, on the channel all the time, I'm talking about letting Brandon Smith play, letting some of these young, hungry wideouts get in the game and try to make an impact, right? These are guys that will leave it all out on the line. They obviously have not really been given a fair or maybe a realistic opportunity in the regular season to go out and make some noise. We all saw what they did in the preseason too, by the way. Like, you never know who could be the next Robbie Anderson. You never know who could be the next one of these undrafted gems, but you will never know if you don't even give them an opportunity. And I think my big issue so far this season is we're not letting them play because we're rolling out Lazard, Reynolds as kind of these roadblocks here. I would have no problems if the Jets had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Okay, I understand not playing the practice squad guys, but if the production is this damn bad, if the offense is just, and granted, right, we're coming off a great performance against Cincy, so I don't want to get too, focused in too much and just, completely, be like disrespectful or rude because, at the end of the day, they did put up over 500 yards against the Bengals defense with no Garrett Wilson. But still, no one thinks that Lazard or Josh Reynolds at this point in time are long-term options for the Jets at the wide receiver position. That's simple. It's just not real. It's just not realistic. But with A.D. Mitchell, he has a chance to be the wide receiver 2 of this football team for a long, long time. Will it work? I don't know. But will he have an opportunity to go out and put out an actual product? Will he have an opportunity to produce? Yes. Yes, he will. In Indy, Pierce is there. Pittman is there. Tyler Warren is there. Jonathan Taylor, potential offensive player of the year. Not getting much opportunities. With the Jets, yeah, he's going to get an opportunity. And same thing with John Mechie. But I've as prospects coming out, Mitchell, in my opinion, I rated him a lot higher than I did Mechie. But still, I mean, I remember seeing comments when we acquired Mechie saying that he would be the wide receiver 2 of this football team based off of the limited sample size that he's shown this year. Again, that is just how bad the room is. And I hate to be rude or disrespectful. That's not really the point. I just feel like if you go out and you ask a Saints fan, if you're at the store and you see someone with a Panthers hat on or a Ravens hat, and you say, "Hey, what are your thoughts on the Jets wide receiver room?" They will tell you the same thing. Oh yeah, they need to get better. They have Garrett Wilson, and that's it. So I commend Darren Muji here for not only getting 2 first-round picks. Let's freaking go. I love the draft. I love adding young players. And the bottom line is the New York Jets are a 1-win football team. Granted, we're coming off that win. Maybe we've turned the corner. I have my fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping for. But with that 1 win, it's our only win of the season. We're 1-7. So, it was pretty jarring, pretty shocking, I was completely just blown away. When I got the notification, I was putting away laundry. I see, boom, Sauce Gardner to the Colts. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? Just signed the 5-year extension. And then compensation, as I'm setting up the stream, StreamYard, compensation comes out 2 firsts plus a player. I understand that Gardner, again, the contract, top 5 pick, former All-Pro. But I honestly like the trade. I know I might get killed for it, but I honestly like the trade. First round picks do not get moved. And the Jets just got 2 and attacked the worst position on the team with a young, high upside player who, again, who knows if he's going to work out, but at least there's a chance there. At least there's a chance. Not to mention this is kind of like a long-term ripple effect. Not really impacting the team that much this season or even next year, but we don't have to like you're literally taking Gardner's contract off of the Jets cap room, right? Off of the books. The New York Jets essentially in 2027, 28, 29, and I think through 2030, the Jets will have an extra 25 or 25 to 30 mil extra per year that they can go invest in. Take your pick in a position of need, an edge rusher, a safety, right? if Mitchell doesn't work out a wide receiver, right? The point is we have the luxury of that. So if you want to have the stance of this is a great trade and here are my reasons why. Again, 2 first-round picks, absolutely incredible. Think about this too for a second. This just kind of popped into my mind. What did Micah Parsons just go for? 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Now, Kenny Clark is obviously a proven player, and he came in, he's a very important position, defensive tackle, a veteran. Dallas needed a veteran, so I get it. But Micah Parsons is regarded as not only, one of the best players in the league, but the best defensive player in the league. I would still give that crown, that title to Myles Garrett, in my opinion. But regardless, Parsons is a freaking animal. Compare the Parsons and the Gardner deal. They're pretty damn similar. Again, Kenny Clark's proven. I don't want to put him on the same level as an unproven young 23-year-old. But still, we're the bulk of this trade, the main idea, the whole point of this trade, the first round draft capital. And we didn't just move Gardner for 1. We got 2, man. We got 2. Talk about jump-starting a rebuild. Elijah, bro, you're the man. Oh, dude. I see you got the Gardner jersey on. 2 firsts and 80. I'm not mad about it. Or I'm not mad at all thinking about it. Muji low-key cooked. Yeah, bro. I mean, wait a second. Do we have more news here? Do we have more? No news. But it's coming down to the wire here. 4:00's the deadline. And again, shout out to everyone hanging in the chat, man. Over 1,900 people. That's nuts. That's insane. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Shout out to you guys, right? The Jets are a 1-7 football team, and you guys are just the absolute best, right? Showing up for your squad, still supporting the squad, even though, things have been rough as of late. I mean, really the last 10, 15 years. But the Jets fans never quit, and I absolutely love that. It's just so awesome. Like, not many fan bases can say, yeah, we're getting dragged through the mud, but we're going to stick by this team, and we're going to wait. And when we finally turn it around, it's just going to make winning feel so much better. So yeah, dude, Elijah, I appreciate you, man. Really, really do. Boom, that's a great deal. Izzy, does that mean we have 3 first-round picks in next year's draft? No, man. So we're gonna have our first-round pick, which will probably be top 10-ish, top 10, definitely, maybe top 5. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. And we're gonna get the Colts pick this year. We'll just say they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll probably win 1 playoff game, or they'll get bounced in round 1. I don't see them as an actual Super Bowl threat, so I don't think the pick is going to be 32, 31, 30, 29. I'm thinking probably 22 through 28 is my guess on where that second first, or the Jets' second first round is going to be in 2026. 2027, we will have, again, our first round pick and the Colts' first round pick again. Now, who knows what the Colts look like in 2027? I mean, I know there's still people that are still out on Daniel Jones. They still think that he's going to fall apart. I mean, he actually played pretty terribly this past Sunday. However, I didn't watch the game. That was just kind of the, word on the street. So 2 first-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year, with 2 swings of the bat at the wide receiver position with 2 young players here in Mitchell and Mechie. I love this. I absolutely love this. Now, I will say Gardner is a former All-Pro. We've seen what Gardner can do. We've seen him play top-level football. Top-level, there were a lot of people that always, or that there was a lot of fans, Jets fans, other, fans of other teams that had Gardner as the number 1 corner in football. I never went as far as to say he was number 1, but top 3 was always kind of my range for him when he was playing at that, All-Pro level. Because I still love just what Surtain brought to the table and things like that. But we've seen some rocky moments with Gardner, right? There's been a tackling issue. There's been an aggression issue. If you look at Aaron Glenn's defense, and this is like another thing that me and my brother were talking about yesterday, like he wants his corners to get up in the grill of these receivers, not only just at the line of scrimmage and as the ball is snapped, right? Getting your hands on them, jamming them at the line, but you also need to stay hip to hip to these guys. And as the route is developing from the wide receiver, you can't be all handsy, jersey tugging, sleeve tugging, hand grabbing, not turning your head around and just panicking, grabbing all over the place. And then, as soon as it's time to, bring the ball carrier down, it's a question of physicality, a question of tackling. So it's almost like this over aggressive mentality, over aggressive, product on the field when the football's in the air. But whenever it's time to go out, I don't want to say whenever it's time, because there are moments where Gardner has shown some. He's made a couple good tackles this season, but I don't think it's fair to say, oh, Gardner's a really good tackler. Gardner's amazing in run support, right? He's amazing. He's an amazing block shedder to get into the backfield. I don't really see that changing, because we've seen him in two different defensive staffs. Jeff Ulbrich ran a tackling seminar in the middle of a professional season. Think about that for a second, right? He ran a tackling seminar, and the tackling did not get better. You bring in one big veteran mind in Steve Wilks. Say what you want about Wilks and him getting fired all over the place, but one thing that he knows is DBs and DB development, right? That's how he came up. He's worked with a bunch of defensive backs throughout the years. Bradbury back with Carolina, Josh Norman in Carolina. He was a part of those great Chargers defenses, working under Ron Rivera way back in the day. He's been around some good DBs, right? Denzel Ward in Cleveland. Like, I just don't see Steve. I don't. Bottom line is, I don't see Saleh, Ulbrich, Glenn, and Steve Wilks, 4 defensive coaches, all preaching tackling, and the tackling is not getting much better. That to me is an issue. That to me is where I start to maybe look at the player or players, because it's not just Gardner who has struggled with tackling. There's been a couple. So when you match that with the flags, when you match that with the, again, just kind of this ultra aggressive play while the ball's in the air, when the wide receiver doesn't really have a chance, but then when he comes down with the pass, it just feels like that aggression just completely backs up. I don't know. It's just, Gardner's a good player, and I wish him well. I hope he does ball out in Indianapolis here. And I don't think Indy's going to move on from 2 first-round picks and a former second rounder if they're like, we have no idea how to use you. I think they're just really trying to push their chips into the middle of the table, and at the same time go out and secure a young piece in Gardner. But I think if you are a Colts fan, you're probably looking at this, and there's no doubt about it. You got better. Indianapolis, you got better. That defense, it got better under Lou, right? The Colts are a better football team today. Simple as that. But was it worth the price tag? I would actually be really interested to hear from fans, I guess, of both the Jets and the Colts. Would you have accepted this deal, 1 first-round pick and Mitchell for Gardner, and the Colts take the entire contract? Let alone the 2 first-round picks. So it's absolutely insane. But Izzy, I appreciate you, bro. Joseph, do you think this is the only one for us today because of how massive of a trade? Or do you think we're still listening to calls? I think we're probably still listening to calls, because again, I mean, how many Brees trade buzz articles have you read over the past week? I feel like there's been a million published. ESPN, The Athletic, right? All these different companies are dropping these Brees Hall articles. Not to mention Quinnen Williams is on an expiring deal. What's going to happen with Q? But to me, Darren Muji, with Quincy, I could see Muji picking up the phone and saying hey, San Francisco, hey, Las Vegas Raiders, take your pick on any team that needs a linebacker. Bucks, Falcons, right? Would you be interested in Quincy? I don't think Muji's calling around. Hey, what will it take for Gardner? We're trying to move this guy. He's on the block. It's like Bradley Chubb in Miami, right? Jalen Phillips. There's an active pursuit on, let's try to get picks back. This to me feels like Indianapolis called and said, hey, what do you want for him? Muji probably said, hey, here's my massive freaking offer, or massive return that I want. And the Colts either said, fine, here you go, or I mean, honestly, that probably could have been what happened. Now that I'm really starting to think about it. Or the Jets basically just said, "No, we're not looking to trade him," and the Colts said, "What's an offer that you won't refuse?" And the Jets maybe laid it out like that, or the Colts maybe just kept on adding to the table, like 1 first round pick for Gardner, no. Okay, what about 2? No. What about 2 and a player? Okay, let's do it. I can't believe I'm sitting here getting notifications. Gardner's to the Colts. Gardner's to the Colts. It doesn't even feel real. Doesn't even feel real, man. But Joseph, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Paul, what's going on, man? I'm in Florida too. People have to realize that this is another stepping stone for rebuilding slash trade bait for future moves. This is a win for the future, not this exact moment. Yeah, it's kind of like short term pain, long term gain type of thing. But I mean, even if you want to push back on that statement, you can say, well, Azaria Thomas is here. It's not like we got to throw out, who we're like double checking the depth chart. Like, okay, we just have to like put him out there. And then, hopefully in the draft, we can use the Colts pick to go draft another corner. No, not the case. Not the case at all. We have his replacement and was expected to go in round 1 in February and March. 1 month later, he falls to round 3. Oh, I think we're in a good position. I think we're in a good position, guys. I really do. And that's not me trying to be like a Homer fan, but I gotta be honest. I don't mind the trade at all. It's a sweet package, dude. It's a real sweet package. Blitz, what's going on, dude? I appreciate the $10, man. Thank you so much. I hate to see Sauce go, but the trade makes too much sense. Yeah, exactly, dude. You're 100% correct. All the best to Gardner. We might have a solid top 4 wide receivers now. Hopefully, Stiggers and AZ can step up. So I agree with you on that second statement, right? With Stiggers and AZ. I'm not ready to say Mitchell's the answer and Mechie's the answer. And, great. We have no issues with wide receiver moving forward. I don't think that's what you're saying, but just, I think right now with the Jets, it's you're taking a swing. Instead of striking out looking for the rest of the year, rolling out Lazard and Reynolds, they're saying, you know what? 2 strikes, right? We're a 1-7 team. Let's swing the bat. Let's go out. And if we can go out and actually attack some young players and add them to this room, let's go down swinging with some of these young guys that are going to accumulate reps, get into the system, and arguably right now are better than what we currently have. If they work out, great. If not, okay, we're in the same position that we were 24 hours ago. So that's kind of my mindset, but I'm not ready to say, Mitch, these guys are the full-on answer, but I do like Mitchell more than every wide receiver on the Jets roster outside of Garrett Wilson. And Mechie, I'm intrigued with because I liked him pre-draft. Grady, dude, thank you so much. Picks. Yeah, great talent, but not generational. In 3 years compared to Revis, 14 interceptions. Yeah. Gardner was never Revis. Like, you can't toss. I don't like it when and you hear all the time from like NFL commentators, like calling a game, like when you start throwing out like comparisons to literally the greatest players of all time, Hall of Famer, that's one thing, but like you're talking like top 3 at a position. That is, it's, or like even when you see like draft comparisons, like, oh, this guy's draft comp is Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or something. It's just like, let's pump the brakes. But, even with Gardner playing top level all pro ball, he's not Revis, right? There's more questions to Gardner's game. Revis was unbelievable. He could follow anybody. He could play in the slot on the outside. He can shut down tight ends that are 6'7". That's not an over exaggeration. We saw that multiple times, locking down some of the best wide receivers in NFL history on a week-to-week basis. His tackling was elite. His run support was fantastic. He never backed down. He was never mentally weak. He was never scared of the moment. He seized the moment. And I hate that he didn't spend the rest of his career with the Jets. Because, I mean, think about like all those years with the New England or his time with the Patriots, is that one lone season with the Bucks. Like if all that was just Jet stats, like he literally could have been the Jets. I would say there was a chance that he could have been the greatest Jet to ever play, assuming the rest of his career he was just a Jet from start to finish. I think there is a chance of that. But yeah, you're right, bro. He's not Revis. Frankly, there's no corner on Revis's level. Just my honest take. Inferno, dude, I appreciate you, man. I love the youth of the wide receiver acquisitions. Yeah, for sure. Out with the old and with the new, we're building for the future. Love it, dude. Love it. Val, and what's going on, man? Yo, I just got the jersey in the mail. Thanks again, brother. I'm not disappointed with the stream, dude. I had a handwritten letter too, but I was at the post office and they were rushing me. Like, long story short, I couldn't actually add the letter in. I couldn't finish the letter in time to put it in the package. But I'm glad. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, so for everyone that's hanging and who doesn't know, Valen is like an all-time great, right? He's been supporting the channel for a long, long time. He Sports Tyson, Let's Talk Jets Radio, the podcast, everything. I always love hearing Valen's thoughts. And I sent him over an autographed Sauce Gardner jersey in the mail, just as a thank you, because I figured the contract, he's not moving, right? And I actually have another autographed jersey. It's a Zach Wilson one. And I was going to throw it in there. I was going to throw it in the package too, but I was thinking like this might, I don't want this to be like an insult or anything. Like Zach will, I don't know how you feel about Zach, right? So my mindset was, Gardner's going to be here for a long time. Like this is going to be a sweet gift for, any Jet fan. And we wake up today and he's freaking traded. So if you want, man, I can try to figure out something else. I think I have an autograph David Harris card, which I can maybe send you. I'll be in touch, bro. I'll be in touch. But thank you so much for the 20, man. No pressure as always. Shooter, what's going on, dude? So do we have 4 first round picks over the next 2 years? Yes, we do. We have our own, and then we have Indianapolis's 2 first rounders as well. Now, who knows? Maybe the Jets will then package those to go out and acquire someone else. I don't see that actually as a case, a reality, but I didn't see Gardner getting traded. So who the hell knows, what Muji's thinking at this point. Dalton, what's going on, dude? Thanks so much, man. We hire a defensive guy to go get offensive players and get rid of a top defensive guy. Well, I think it was for Saleh. It was time to go. I disagree with firing him after, okay. You're talking about Gardner. I think this would be a lot different if we didn't have the replacement for him. And I'm not saying that Azarie and Gardner are like the same player. They're on the same level. But it's similar to the Michael Carter deal where we moved Michael Carter, and I was honestly just hoping for a late round pick. Why? Because he's one of the highest paid slots in football. And we have someone on the roster who's better than him, younger than him, cheaper than him, and fits the system better. So what's the point in paying all this money to a veteran backup at slot corner, right? Nickel corner. Like that's a very strange position to be investing a lot of money in the backup position to. So my mindset is we have the replacement. Boom, we're good. If we can just move Carter, get off the deal. So now we open up $5-10 million in, cap space per season per, free agency cycle. We can now go and flip that money over to whatever, defensive end, wide receiver, take your pick. While at the same time, getting better slot corner play than we would with that player on the roster and Michael Carter. So that was one of the big benefits with that trade. In this case, I think the drop off is obviously bigger because Carter was actually underneath Brownlee, in my opinion, as far as just overall systematic fit and what we've seen so far this season. Azarie Thomas is, objectively speaking, a question mark at this point in time. He's a current question. Brownlee was not a question mark. We knew who he was. So there is that questionable, cloudy, hazy area. But I feel good about it. The New York Jets made that draft selection knowing that they had Sauce Gardner under contract for 5 years, understanding that Brandon Stevens was already signed. So I think because we have that guy, it makes more sense than just moving him. I mean, to be honest, even if we didn't have the replacement, I would still look at it as a good trade because of, the simple the compensation coming back. But I think it's kind of like the cherry on top, because the only flaw with that model, right, that hypothetical where we didn't have Azarie Thomas, is all of a sudden when the offseason hits, it's like, okay, we got to go out and hand out a $60 million, $80 million cornerback contract to a free agent, or we now have to take this Colts first round pick and go spend it on a corner. And then it's like, okay, well, we just traded a young corner for a draft pick to draft another corner. Why do we sign him in the first? Like, it just kind of makes things a little bit weird, but still overall, like in totality, the deal is fair. But because we have Thomas who can slide right in, if Thomas continues to show something, man, if Thomas can go out there and just play average to above average, all things considered, and I'm just talking about this season, that is a win. Because what the Jet, like, just from a macro level perspective, top down perspective, the Jets are trading a corner, the highest paid corner in football. You're getting this treasure trove back of great assets, while at the same time, simultaneously adding to the wide receiver room, the worst position on the team. But let's not dive into that. Sticking with corner. And if, again, assuming Thomas is average to slightly above average, and keep in mind he's played some decent football as of late, or so far this season, given the context, we are moving on from a player like that, Gardner, the money, getting his package, all that stuff's great. And we're not opening a need on the team. The team is still in a good spot with or without him. The difference is I think you are a little bit better with Gardner out on or you're probably, I would just say bad. I'm not going to say you're exceptionally better with Gardner out on the field compared to him not being out there, but I do think you are better with Gardner from the Jets perspective. When he's healthy and he's out there and he's playing, the Jets are a better defense, in my opinion. But if that drop off isn't that big, if Azari Thomas again could just be, hey, a run of the mill corner, maybe he could be a little bit of a above average. We're not paying him anything. He's on a rookie third round contract. If you can move a guy like that and not open up a need, absolutely insane, man. Absolutely insane. Now, of course, there's a chance that Thomas could struggle or have a bunch of rookie moments, but really with him, I'm just really concerned about the growth. Gerard, what's going on, bro? Oh my dude, I have 17 notifications. Okay, is there any more news here? So it looks like there's maybe some talk that Alec Pierce is going to sign an extension with the Colts now, which I think makes sense. Gerard, what's going on, man? Thanks so much. I like it. Keep grinding in. Live in South Florida myself. Yeah, dude. I'm down, bro. I'm down. I mean, unfortunately, like the Bucks game already passed, the Dolphins game already passed, but yeah, we got to link up. Connor, what's up, dude? Thanks a ton. Not to mention, we also have the first pick in the second round in 2026, I believe. So that won't be for sure locked in until the end of the season because if the Jets win 3-4 games down the stretch, we're not going to have the first overall pick. Really, it feels like it's a 3-team race between the Saints, Titans, and Jets. You can argue Miami. You can argue Cleveland. But right now it feels like Saints, Titans, Jets. Saints need a quarterback. Although they did invest a second-round pick in Tyler Shuck, but that could be a Jimmy Clausen situation if they roll him out there and he's just not, all that great. I don't think the Saints would pass up on, picking a quarterback at 1 if Tyler Shuck is not good, right? They're not going to, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to fully invest in Shuck right now. So the Jets need a quarterback. The Saints need a quarterback, right? The Titans don't. The Titans just picked Ward. So if the Titans get the first overall pick and say the Jets get 3 or 4, I don't see the Titans sticking at 1 and picking, going like Ruben Bain or anything. I think the Titans would actually want to move down, get a bunch of draft picks in return, try to fill roster holes that way, and maybe go after like Jordan Tyson in the top 10, right? Stay in the top 10, have a team move up for a quarterback. So I think if the Jets get 1, if the Saints get 1, they're going QB. Mendoza is my guess. I like Mendoza a lot. Again, Tennessee, I don't think they stick and pick. Now they could, but then the Jets would just have to hope that quarterback falls to them. But Connor, I appreciate you, man. But you do make a great point, which regardless, the Jets are going to have high picks in every round outside of round 3 because of the Hassan Reddick deal. With the sauce money up, Valen, I appreciate you, man. With the sauce money off the books, who on this roster would you lock up? I want JJ signed. That's actually a really, really interesting take, dude, because although Gardner wasn't getting paid a lot this season or next year, that 25 $30 million range kicks in. It's a 5-year extension. So literally Gardner was signed through 2030, I believe. I think 2030. So that's a lot of money. Just fact of the matter, right? You can now turn around and, like you said, man, go out and invest in Jermaine Johnson, right? Imagine if 15 minutes after the trade deadline, boom, the New York Jets extend Jermaine Johnson, 3-year contract worth however much you feel comfortable with. All of a sudden, that number isn't as daunting. It's not as intimidating because we now have freed up cash from Gardner. Again, it's not going to make a difference that much this year. Although Gardner was a top 5 pick and the 5th-year option for a top 5 pick is pretty decent. I think it's around like $12-15 million or something like that. So you are saving something. And as Ian Rappaport pointed out before, kind of a tongue twister, the Jets have only paid Gardner over $600,000 this year so far. That's it. And the Jets are that huge money deal, the number 1 corner contract, gone. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Not saying that it was a bad contract, but who knows? I mean, you never really know how my guess is the Colts called. They wanted a big swing. Trey Hendrickson, who the hell knows what's going on there? They were my guess, they're calling around the league looking for a good young player that's going to actually be a needle mover on a bad team, right? Because you look at the Titans, they're not going to, the Titans are not going to trade Jeffrey Simmons to an in-division rival in the Colts, right? New Orleans, do they really have a young, like Olave? Sure, but the Colts don't need a wide receiver. And their defensive pieces that they can maybe move are just older veterans, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, guys like that. What bad team out there has a young, controllable option at the cornerback position, right? Because if that's what Indy's looking for, obviously, they're probably calling other teams. My guess is they probably called Cleveland for Denzel Ward. But, I mean, you look at Cleveland's defense, they're really, really good. I don't know. I just feel like this was Indianapolis approaching the Jets, being aggressive. Hey, what do you want for him? What can we do to make this deal happen? I don't see it as the other way around where it's Darren Muji. We're trying to get off of this Gardner deal. You're not going to get a package like that if you're calling and trying to make the first move. It's just not how it works, right? Think back to the Jamal Adams trade, right? Why was that package so much? Because Pete Carroll and the Seahawks desperately wanted him. They desperately wanted him. And the notion was Joe Douglas liked Adams a lot, but he got an offer that he simply couldn't refuse. And that offer was crazy too, by the way. What was it? 2 firsts, a third, and Bradley McDougald, I think. I think so. Regardless, the Jets are getting a fantastic package back in return. And Valen, I appreciate you, man. Max, dude, thanks so much. Every time Sauce tackles, he's slow to get up and gets hurt. Sauce can't tackle. It's as simple as that. Yeah, if you're the highest paid corner, this is just my personal preference. I don't want red flags. I don't want red flags. Like if I'm making someone the highest paid edge rusher, the highest paid wide receiver, the highest paid left tackle, I don't want to have like 2 to 4 red flags on. He's not that good in this area. He's not that good in this area. He needs work in this area. And Gardner had, to be fair, like 3, big questions, big concerns. Tackling in open field, penalties, and run support, right? And before this season, you could have thrown, you could also, if you want to take that argument, you can lump on top of it that he also doesn't he doesn't take the ball away. He doesn't get a lot of interceptions. Now, maybe that changes with Indy. I don't like to look into the interception number that too much, but it's still something worth noting that he just doesn't pick the ball off. So you have a corner that's not picking the ball off up to this season, was not following the number one. He was stuck on one side. Questionable in run support, questionable tackler, but Gardner still has a big upside, super like long, lengthy player. I think it's rare to find a corner like that who can move like he does. But I don't see the Jets trading Gardner unless they are 1000% sold that it's the right move. Kat, what's up? Should we use the new picks to trade up for the best quarterback in the draft instead of settling to whichever one falls for us or falls to us? That's going to be dependent on who actually comes out. If Dante Moore goes back to school and Orris Sellers goes back to school, all these guys go back to school, and you're looking at Fernando Mendoza and then QB2s like Garrett Nussmeier. I don't know. I think there's more of an argument there to move up, but there's a chance that the Jets could actually get the number one overall pick. There's a lot of buzz with Ty Simpson right now, and I get it, but the reality is, do you take a quarterback in the top 5, top 10 with sub 15 starts under his belt? It reminds me of Trubisky. It reminds me of Anthony Richardson. They're just too raw at this point in time. And so that's what makes me nervous about Simpson, but I like Simpson a lot. Mendoza's my QB1 in this, in this class. Dante Moore is interesting because if NFL teams can, because when the college season ends, it's up to these players to declare or to go back to school. And Dante, for whatever it's worth, is 20 years old. He's a redshirt sophomore, I believe. And quick backstory with Dante, massive 5-star recruit coming out of Michigan. I believe it was right around the Detroit area. He had his focus on Oregon. He was locking in on Oregon, and UCLA came, right, with Chip Kelly, and they basically said, hey, you can start, right? True freshman, you can start day one. He picks UCLA. He goes to UCLA. He starts. There's good, but there's mostly questionable questionable production, right? So he transfers. And I remember when he transferred, it was like, hey, you know what? I'm going back to the school that I had like my heart set on. And I understand that I'm going to be a backup, but I really want to be developed. I want to be put in a position to have success. So I'm going to sit and watch Dylan Gabriel for a year, and then I'm going to take over. If Dante Moore still has, eligibility left at in college football, is he, in other words, more time to max out to kind of milk out that growth, that overall development as a player? Look at Justin Herbert. He did the same thing, right? Well, not the same exact path, but he could have came out as a junior, waited, and then and part of that is because Herbert had a family tie. His brother played for the team and he wanted to play with his brother and stuff. But, he went back to school, stuck with it, and kind of honed his craft a little bit more, and ultimately was the 6th overall pick in the draft. Bo Nix was a seasoned veteran coming out of Oregon. So, could Dante Moore maybe follow suit where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm looking at former quarterbacks here that are leaving for the NFL as older, experienced players, and I'm not that old, experienced player right now. Now, if when the season ends, these prospects get kind of like report cards from scouts in the NFL, and they say, okay, this is where you're projected to go, like pre-combine, pre-pro day, like this is what we think of you. Hence, Cam Ward going back to school, because Cam Ward declared for the draft out of Washington State. And the rumor was the word back from the league, you're a 4th to 5th rounder. And so he's like, I'm going back to school, right? NIL is a thing. I'm going to go get paid down in Miami, start for them, number 1 overall pick the following year. The whole reason why he went back again was because he got negative feedback or day 3 feedback. If they come back to Dante Moore and they're like top 5, that could be enough to where he's just declaring. But I'm not too sure, right, with Dante Moore. But long-winded answer there. But I do like Mendoza a lot. HK, what's up, dude? Long-time listener, bro. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for all the updates. Does the Sauce trade mean that there's a higher chance of holding on to Brees? That's another really good point, dude. That's actually a really, really good point because you can now turn around and give Brees a contract, call it 3 years, 31 mil, 32 mil, 10, $11 million per season. Something that, Kyron Williams or James Cook just got. And it's not going to be as detrimental to the Jets cap. So, yeah, it's a great point. Thanks so much for the 5, dude. I appreciate you. Eddie, what's up, dude? That was a statement by Muji. We clearly need a real change at 1-7. Big time. Big time. I'm really, really liking Darren Muji's move so far. I mean, outside of Justin Fields and Cisco, I mean, realistically speaking, right? How many GMs can show up in January, take over a dysfunctional 5-win mess of a team, and say, okay, we're going to fix right tackle. We're going to bring in a center on a cheap 1-year deal. Just in case something happens to one of the offensive linemen, we can, have someone move over. That's exactly what happened in Elijah Vera Tucker. Tippmann slides over. Josh Myers is playing good football. It's looking like Mason Taylor's probably going to be the answer at tight end. I don't want to jump the gun there, but you guys know what I mean, right? Young player, still developing, but we've seen some positives there. Harrison Phillips, Juwan Briggs. Think about how bad the D tackle room was in January. Horrible. Now, D tackle is not even a need on this team. If the Jets sign a D tackle, they're going to come in and be the 4th one. We actually released Leonard Taylor. Like we almost had like a plethora of D tackles rather. So we get Phillips, we get Briggs, we get Mason Taylor, we get Armand Membu. We get off of the Michael Carter contract, and he was not playing well. We add Jarvis Brown-Lee for a late-round pick swap, 2nd year of his rookie deal. Cheap, affordable, controllable. Fits the system, playing better than the guy who's already here, making triple, quadruple what he is. Massive win there. Quick side note, I see Titans fans also on social media every Sunday talking about how good Jarvis Brown-Lee's playing and saying, why the hell did we trade him away for nothing? Like that made no sense at the time. It makes no sense now. So it really feels like the Jets got a steal there. And then you look at the day 3 picks, right? Like I've seen some people criticizing Tyler Barron like early on in the season when he's out there. It's like he's a 6th round pick. Day 3 6th round picks are not supposed to be rotational impact pieces, right? So, and also name some good GMs in football. How many are they drafting starters in every freaking round? No, it's not the case. But you look at again in Darren Mushi's draft class, Membu, Mason Taylor. We already talked about it. Up to this point, Malachi Moore looks better than Tony Adams. Cool. Francisco Mauanoa playing some solid ball as of late. It looks like he's getting better with time. He's a 6th round pick. Day 3 6th round pick, and he's hanging with NFL players in his rookie season, and he's thrusted into play. This is not some preseason standout where he looks amazing and the Jets found this crazy gem, or he was supposed to go in round 1 but he fell to round 6. No, he's just developing at a really, really steady clip. And with this Quincy Williams injury, like he's just repping out these practices. He's just absorbing all of these different opportunities in again, reps in games, in meetings, in practice. Like he's just soaking up the knowledge and it's just getting better and better and better. So that's 2 day 3 selections from Darren Muji in one draft class, while at the same time hitting on the first 2. Excuse me. And Azaria Thomas now has his chance to shine. So yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Muji so far. Again, Justin Fields, not really working out up to this point. Andre Cisco has not worked out, but you're not gonna. Oh, and Brandon Stevens too, by the way. Brandon Stevens is another guy who started off rocky, is playing a lot better as of late. Give me 1 second. I have to blow my nose. But Eddie, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Anthony, dude, you're the man. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. My allergies are just terrible. Anthony, Sauce is a great kid. I hope he flourishes in Indy. That being said, this is how you build the Detroit Lions roster. Dude, excellent point, man. Excellent point. Yeah, no one wants to hate on Gardner or anything. And I think there's, obviously a massive difference between criticizing what you're seeing on the field and hating on the guy from like a subjective standpoint, right? I don't think anybody's hating on Gardner. I think they're just pointing out, hey, he hasn't been a good tackler. So I hope Gardner balls in Indianapolis. I have nothing against Gardner. I have nothing against the Colts. I actually like the Colts a lot, and kind of how they do things and stuff like that. And they have a lot of cool young pieces. So I'm hoping he goes there and has a playoff run and can finally make it back to the playoffs. But man, the New York Jets got a freaking haul back in return. So you're spot on, bro. Spot on. Alex, dude, absolutely insane. Thank you so much for that, man. What's your view on the future regarding Mechie and Mitchell's usage in the offense? How do you think they will, attribute to the team's offense and help out players like Fields on the team, and maybe possibly a first round or the first pick quarterback? Yeah, great question. Right now, Mitchell is better than every receiver on the team outside of Garrett. We're looking at the numbers right here on the screen. With those poor numbers, I'm taking Mitchell over Lazard. I'm taking Mitchell over Arian Smith right now. I'm taking Mitchell over Josh Reynolds. I'm taking him over Tyler Johnson. That's just me. But I feel pretty confident in saying that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to come in and get 80 catches to end the year or anything like that. It's still an unknown, but I at least know what Lazard and these guys bring to the table, and it's simply not enough. Mitchell gives you hope. Mitchell gives you a potential light at the end of the tunnel, room to grow at the position. And one thing that we were talking about before, I don't know how long you've been chilling for, but if you look at the targets, that Mitchell has seen so far, he hasn't really been thrown to a lot. Indianapolis is a run-heavy, run-first offense with Jonathan Taylor and a great offensive line. Mitchell is not wide receiver 1. No, that's Michael Pittman. They paid him a ton of money. He's not wide receiver 2. That's Alec Pierce. They love Alec Pierce. He's a down-the-field threat, big body, box-out type of guy. Hold on a second. Do we have another? Oh, my God. Connor Hughes. Okay, so here's the trade from the Jets again. And Alex, there's more that I want to say here, but we got to pull up Connor Hughes' trade here. Teams continue to call about Jermaine Johnson per sources. Offers include a second round pick. I don't want to trade Jermaine Johnson. I don't want to do that. Now, if it's like a second and something, or we get like something like this back in return, okay, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to move JJ. I want to extend Jermaine Johnson. But going back to your point, Alex, that's how I like Mitch. I like Mitchell a lot. Again, I see, and I'm not just saying this to be like a Homer Jets fan. He can be our wide receiver too. Like, he has the potential to be that guy. 6'2", 200-pound player, right? We could go back and watch what he did at Texas. Mechie is a bit more of a question mark. He's been on 2 teams, Houston, Philly. Hasn't really found his footing as of late. But again, if you're bringing Mechie in, he's playing. Like, it's not like the Bengals acquired him and he's going to get 1 look per game. No, he's probably going to get a bunch of looks per game. And then you throw on top of that practice reps and stuff. I just don't see, like, I think it would be just completely ludicrous to add a guy in Mitchell, add a guy in Mechie, and then just say, no, you guys ride the bench because we're going to play Josh Reynolds, who's hurt half the time, and Alan Lazard, who is a healthy scratch in some games, right? And is giving low effort on jump balls and passes down the field and stuff like that. I understand that, the coaches keep saying that they're good at blocking, but you know what? Like, we need some receivers that are actually good at catching passes and making plays. for the quarterback here. So, man, like I really like, but again, it's two swings of the bat. You could hit a home run, you could swing and miss, but you know what? Rolling out Lazard, rolling out Reynolds week after week after week after week, you're striking out looking. You know what you're going to get there. So, Alex, I appreciate you, man. Good luck to the Vols. Moving forward, I think the SEC right now, it's in like a bit of a flux. I think Stoops will probably get fired at some point, out of Kentucky. Obviously, Auburn just fired Hugh Freeze, so they're kind of like in free fall. LSU, right? Brian Kelly, they're gonna land someone big. But Tennessee, man, like next season, I really feel like Tennessee has the opportunity to really make a push with Heupel, in the conference. And by the way, I love those black. The Volunteers have some of my favorite uniforms in college football. Paul, dude, thank you so much, man. First year general manager. Congrats to the Jets. Sauce to Indy makes sense. They're all in this year. Happy for you, my friend. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I do think it's a win-win for both teams because I don't think you can debate that. I don't think you can come to the table and say that the Colts are worse with Gardner. I just feel like it's almost like, I don't know, going to the car dealership, right? Or something, or you go and you get something really nice, take your pick, right? I don't know. We could talk about cars a lot, but let's just say Ferrari, right? Or like Porsche 911, right? You go up to the dealer, you get this sweet, sweet car, which is Sauce Gardner. The Colts are upgrading. The Colts are getting an awesome player, an awesome piece for that team, but they're paying so much. They're paying so much money. Assets plus Mitchell. Now, who knows? Maybe in the Colts' minds, they're like, we are a run first team. We have two good wide receivers. We have Tyler Warren on the team as well, who's a great a great pass catcher. There's just not enough volume. We're not throwing it 50 times a game. Yes, we like Mitchell's upside. Yes, we think he could be a good player, but realistically speaking, the game plan is never going to be throw to AD Mitchell 20 times per game. That's just not going to happen with the amount of talent that they have. So maybe Indy's just like, we're kind of stacked with pass catchers. We're doing pretty damn good things offensively. We don't mind moving them. Oh, you want Mitchell? Okay. Here. We're going to be fine without him. Kind of like, oh my. Did Quinnen Williams just get traded? Oh my fucking Lord, dude. Quinnen Williams just got freaking traded. To who? Oh my God, dude. Quinnen Williams. Oh my gosh, dude. All right, we got to pull up the tweet. Quinnen Williams just got dealt to Dallas. What are we getting? New York gets a 2026 first round pick and more for Williams. Dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. There's so much happening right now. There's so much happening. Paul, I appreciate you, man. Let's pull up this tweet. Let's pull up this tweet right now. Hold on. Remove that. Stop screen share. Let's see if this works. There it is. Quinnen Williams has been dealt to the Dallas Cowboys so we have 3 first-round picks, man. 3 first-round picks in 2026. I can't even believe this. But also, Pelissero is saying here, we're getting more for Quinnen. It's not just a 1. We're getting a first and something else. Inferno. Thanks so much, dude. We're gonna hang on live for a while here. There's so much to talk about. Oh my God, dude. I can't even any projected late first rounders you're intrigued by now any projected first rounders you're intrigued with. Love your channel, man. By the way, been watching you since the Darnold bid. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So it's always tough right now to say like, okay, who's that late round one? Because there's guys that are being talked about in late round one that could literally be picked in the top 5 or flipped. I like there's ironically enough, Adonai Mitchell was expected to go in round 1 literally on draft day, and he falls to round 2. But that was like a late round 1 guy. But I think Lemon from USC is a really, really interesting option. I think not round 1, but someone who I'm really looking at man, I really wish we had a 3rd round pick, but yeah, Moore from Michigan, I think I've done a lot of work on the mid round, like kind of the set, like round 2 to round 4 and top 15 guys. If I'm being 100% honest here, but I can't even believe that we just traded Quinnen Williams. At first I thought it was Quincy Williams. I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. John, my question is, why not get Anthony Richardson too? I think Richardson needs to be in a place where the Jets will where a team will fully commit to the rebuild, or rebuilding him, I should say, not just on field production, but like mentally as well, because he's taken a beating physically and mentally. But I appreciate the $2, man, for real. Thank you. Michael, dude, thanks so much. I would rather lose Sauce than Quinnen Williams or Jermaine Johnson, because we got 2 first rounders for Sauce, and we would have only gotten one for Williams or a 2nd for JJ. I can't even believe this, dude. I can't even believe that Quinnen is now gone. I mean, Sauce was one thing, but absolutely insane. But Michael, dude, I appreciate the donation. I totally feel you. Jason, thank you so much, dude. Crazy trade. Do we still pay the contract, or do the Colts now have the rights to it? Go Jets. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. No, we're not paying anymore. To Ian Rappaport, or to from his report, from Rappaport's report, the Jets have paid Gardner over $600,000 this year, and that's it. The Colts will take on the remaining $131 million. So the Jets are off the hook there. Late to the party. Can you recap the compensation? Yep. Pally, thank you so much, dude. The Jets, oh my God, the Jets have traded Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts. We get the Colts 2026 first, 2027 first, and Adonai Mitchell, former 2nd round pick from the Texas Longhorns, made by the Colts, not this past class, but the season prior. Someone who's expected to go in round 1, 6'2", 200-ish pounds. Just if you don't know him, just hop back into YouTube and just pull up some AD Mitchell highlights back at Texas. And also try to find that there's like a 2-3 minute video clip of Mitchell being wide open and passes going over his head, or overthrows or underthrows. Like, there were opportunities for his numbers to look a lot better last year with Richardson, but the QB play was just simply not there. Let me update this title real quick. Absolutely insane, dude. The Quinnen news hasn't even hit me. What are we getting for Quinnen outside of this 1st round pick? Oh, let's see. I can't believe it, dude. Yeah, this whole and more, where is it at? Yeah, right here. 1st round pick and more for Williams. Because if we get another player, I'm trying to think of who that could be. And by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's been sending in super chats. It really means a lot. That stuff just does not that stuff does not go unnoticed. I really sincerely appreciate everybody, everyone hanging and everything. So yeah, I just wanted to say thanks. Muji might be legit. Brian, what's up, dude? Yeah, Muji might be legit. He's made some savvy moves this season. I trust his draft, and I'm looking forward to the next couple drafts. Hell yeah, man, bro! We got 3 first-round picks in this year's class. Three. and 2 in 2027. And we're taking a swing on Mechie. We're taking a swing on Mitchell. Dude, awesome, dude. Crazy. Eddie, what's up, dude? I really don't think it's wise to draft a quarterback with our early first rounder. We shouldn't draft a quarterback early just for the sake of drafting a quarterback. Example, Wilson. It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. But the question is, what do you do then? Do you maybe acquire a veteran, draft one at the top of round 2, like a Garrett Nussmeier or someone like that? We do know that Rick Spielman loves Carson Beck. Do you draft him in the mid rounds to be a developmental guy? My thing is, if you have a top 5 pick, every franchise, I don't care who, you need to ask yourself, do you have a long-term option at the quarterback position? If the answer is no, you have to be at least in the market. You can't say, no, we don't, but we're not looking at quarterbacks. Cannot believe this, dude. I cannot believe this. X-Ray, what's happening, man? Good riddance. He was trending down, bad tackler, can never turn his head and locate the ball. He was not a dog. Yeah, there's, there is a big portion of Jets fans that are excited about this, right? Compensation aside, just moving on from Gardner and the contract. But I appreciate the 5, man. James, what's happening, dude? Wowie and the Jets are selling everyone. Dude, I appreciate the super chat, man. Obviously, no pressure to ever do that. We got to kick it soon, man. We got to kick it. But, dude, the Bucs are on a roll. They're freaking all over the place, winning games left and right. Baker Mayfield looks absolutely incredible. I think I was actually thinking Quincy Williams could be traded to Tampa. Sorry, I'm trying to find out the rest of this compensation here. But James, hope you're doing well, man. Let's chill soon, dude. Let's chill soon. Shaheed, yeah, Shaheed got traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, damn, everyone's going to New. We're loaded up for a Joe Burrow offer, bro. Imagine Joe Burrow with the Jets, dude. Absolutely nuts. Now, another thing to make a note of, and I think we actually literally talked about this exact situation a couple of videos ago, 2 videos ago, maybe. Dallas, why this makes sense for Dallas: A, they're a win now team. B, they need help stopping the run. C, they need more talent on that defense. I mean, the defensive production has just been straight up putrid if we're just being real. But D, they have 2 first-round picks as well. So they can dump a first and be like, let's get Quinnen, one of the best D tackles in football. And you're like, okay, cool. We have a first-round pick still. We're right back to where we were. As opposed to a team like the Ravens or another team that needs help stopping the run, another team that wants Quinnen. It's like, okay, you trade that player and you give up a first, and like your first draft pick in this upcoming class is going to be like 60 something. It's like, ugh. Yeah, this is like, we have to be sure here. Dallas can be like, all right, we have 2 now. We had 1, we get 2. Here's 1. Let's go get Quinnen. I just want to know what the other aspect of this thing is. What's the other shoe? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop here. What's the other side of the coin looking like? Nuts. This is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Gardner and Sauce gone like that within hours of each other. I mean, how are you guys even? It's mind-blowing because the 2 guys that I felt like, well, I mean, in the case of Gardner, I didn't think he was even talked about as being available. But you know what's going to actually be really, really exciting to watch? The Darren Muji press conference, the Aaron Glenn press conference, recapping these moves. Now, the Gardner trade, right? We've talked obviously a lot about it. And by the way, I'm going to be live again tonight around 7 with Tyson, recapping, all the action, just diving into everything. The Gardner package in return is just so much compensation back in return. If the Jets get like a first and like a 7th for Quinnen, I don't know how I would feel about. We're still getting a first, awesome, but I really hope it's. Oh my God! What? Hold on. Wow. Okay, here it is. Jeremy Fowler. I need to find it. Jeremy Fowler has just given the updated us with the trade compensation. Here it is. Cowboys are giving up a second round pick this year and a first in 2027. So the New York Jets have to big picture here. We have a 2026. Sorry. We have 2 first round picks in two round 1 picks, right? This year. We have 2 second round picks this year. No third round pick. And then in 2027, we have 3 first round picks. And we then, of course, a second and a third, right? Because we had this whole Hassan Reddick trade that every Jet fan keeps on mentioning and Jet Reporter keeps on reminding everybody about, which is annoying, but it is what it is. So the Jets have 2 1s this year, 2 2s this year. Let's freaking go. Malachi Moore, Armand Membu, Mason Taylor, Francisco Mauanoa. I like what I've seen from Azareye'h Thomas. That is, 4 or 5 players in one class. Think about all these JD draft classes, by the way. Like that first one. Becton, Mims, all these misses, right? Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson, all these guys, right? Hitting on mid-round picks is so important. It's so important. Like my expectation for a general manager, first round pick, if I miss on a first round pick, I would maybe just resign flat. Like first round, like you need to hit on first round picks. Like that's a non-negotiable. First round picks you need to hit on. You cannot be missing in the first round. It sets your franchise back. But really what separates the well-ran organizations from the teams at the bottom, not every single year, but consistently throughout the course of my life at the bottom or at the top of the draft, in this case, is hitting on the mid-rounders. Second rounder, third rounder, fourth rounder. Are these guys coming in and actually making an impact? Are they Are they starters? If they're not a starter, are they a rotational piece? Or are they off the team? Think about the second round. Second rounders for the Jets throughout the years. Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims, Christian Hackenberg, Geno Smith, Devin Smith, Jason Morrow, Elijah Moore. That's 7, dude. That's 7 second round picks. Who else? That's a lot of misses. And granted, these are all different general managers here, but that's 7 misses in the second round alone. That we're not talking about the third round misses. We're not talking about the first round misses. That's I feel like the Jets would be in a lot better position if we actually have, and we talk about it all the time, right? The Jets have a depth issue. The Jets have a major depth issue. How do you replenish depth? Yeah, you got to hit on the first round pick, obviously. You have to bring in free agents that actually work. Laken Tomlinson, multi-year deal, did not work. Big contract. Corey Davis, 3-year, $45 million, did not work. Alan Lazard, 4-year, $44, did not work. Throw on top of it, Aaron Rodgers, time with the Jets, did not work. There's a lot of, Javon Kinlaw did not work. There's a lot of Dalvin Cook did not work. There's a lot of players that just they missed a lot in free agency. They missed a lot in the mid rounds. And I think that's why we feel like we have such a thin or top heavy roster. Oh my, wait. Did we just trade Quincy Williams to the Jets or to the Cowboys too? Or is that a typo here? Did we just wait a second. The Jets are getting a second round. Let's update this. The Jets are getting a second round pick, just as Fowler points out, this year. We're getting a first round pick in 2027, and we're getting, I believe, Mazi Smith. I think we're getting Mazi Smith as well. Now, to be fair, he has not worked out up to this point. But let's pull up the numbers, right? Let's pull up the numbers. He was a former first round pick out of Michigan. I didn't really think he should have been a first round pick, if I'm being 100% honest, when I think back to 2023. Um, but it's still a player. It's still a player. And again, like, if you're Aaron Glenn and you're the Jets, you have Harrison who can play. You have Juwan Briggs who can play. You also now are adding a young guy, despite what we've seen so far, right? 6'3", 340-pound player here in Smith at 25 years old. Another one of these high upside players, despite what they've done so far. Let me try to bring up Smith's stats real quick. Unless you want to keep it on the Twitter page here and we can kind of, continue to see. Oh my gosh, dude, look at this. Tom Pelissero, the Jets wanted and now have 3 first-round picks in 2027, in addition to 2 first-round picks in 2026. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, how are you guys feeling, man? How are you guys feeling? We could have gotten Parsons for Quinnen. I don't know. Paul, thanks again, man. 2027 draft class seems like it's going to be loaded. Do you think Wilson is going to? No, I don't think Garrett Wilson. If you trade Garrett Wilson, dude, I mean, unless you get like some crazy, if you get like another 2 first-round picks or something, then I guess you kind of have to listen. But I just don't see that as like at that point. At that point, you just might be tanking, to be honest. But yeah, dude, 2027's draft class. I mean, think about all these guys, right? Oh, by the way, let me try to.
It's more than that, but they.
Just for like copyright stuff, but yeah, dude, gosh, dude, oh my gosh. I mean, you're looking at some of those players that are projected to go out in 2027. Dante Moore could be in that group. Ty Simpson could be in that group, right? I believe I have to double check on Julian Sayen's eligibility, but 2027 is kind of the projected class to where everything is at a lot of positions. Like there's a lot of peaking players that are again projected to go out or to come out in that in that range or in that class rather. I mean, you have guys like Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. Imagine Jeremiah Smith and Garrett Wilson on the same team with Adonai Mitchell, right? But yeah, dude, you're spot on, Paul. 2027 class, it's freaking nuts. How about them Jets, man? Thank you, dude. Oh my god, I cannot wait for the fireworks with you and Tyson tonight. Go and have my bro. I haven't talked to Tyson at all. My phone is at 6%. 1, 2, 3 texts, 30 notifications. Dude, what I originally wanted for Quinnen, like in my videos that I was talking about, I'm like, I don't want to move Quinnen, but if we do, I want a first plus something. So a first and a fifth, a first and a fourth, a first and a player, something like that. We get a first, a second, and a young player. And again, who knows if that player is going to work, right? Mazi Smith. I keep on saying I got to pull up his stats. Hold on. Let's do this. Remove. Stop. Share. Close out of that. All right. Let's see. So yeah, obviously the numbers aren't all that great, right? And I don't know if you guys are big into PFF. Personally, I'm kind of 50-50 with it, but I can pull up the PFF for these guys as well too if you guys want. But 2024, 41 tackles, 1 sack last season, started in all 17 games. In other words, he's an experienced player here. I mean, he's appeared in 39 total games. So, it's not like the Jets are getting this guy who's never seen. He's not, because John Mechie hasn't, A.D. Mitchell. It's not like they're getting the ball thrown to them 5-10 times a game or something absurd like that. But if you can, say, all right, as a 23-year-old, you started in all 17 games and you appeared in 17 games the season before that, and you've played in 5 this season. you're getting a player that I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's plug and play immediately. This great, fantastic piece, but you're getting someone who you can slowly rotate in. And again, at one point in time, very draft insiders, NFL teams, very, 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 very high on Mazi Smith. And just to kind of prove that point, let's pull up the combine. Let's pull up the combine notes and actually pull up his projection. Of course, NFL Network, the combine tab is not working. It hasn't been working for a couple days, of course. But think about this too for a second, right? One thing that I do remember about Smith was fast 40 time. He ran like a 4.4, 4.5 maybe. Look at his size here. 6'3", 337 pounds. And that was probably taken before the season, but think about that for a second, right? You have someone at this size, 6'3", 340, running a 4.5. Crazy. But how about the Jets, man? Yeah, I'll catch you later tonight, bro. Thank you so much for hopping in. BJ, what's up, dude? Or sorry, BG. Wait, is Aaron Glenn talking right now? Is Aaron Glenn starting up a? Oh my lord! All right, yeah, BG, man, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you a ton. It's crazy. Any news with Brees? Nothing right now. But we have an hour and a half here. Not good, JC. Not good. What you wanted to? Are you not happy with the compensation, or do you want to keep some of these pieces? And I appreciate the 5, man. And dude, thank you so much for the 2, man. I really, really appreciate it. Ron, holy dude, you're the absolute man. I don't even know what to say, dude. I'm in New Jersey going nuts while my daughter Kayla's in. Oh my god, dude, congratulations. That's absolutely insane, man. Yeah, congratulations, bro. Insane, eventful day. I mean, you're gonna remember this day forever. Crazy stuff, dude. Yeah, tell her. I don't know if she's a Jet fan too, but yeah, just send my thoughts your guys' way, and yeah, hopefully we'll have another Jet fan on by later today. Yes, still. Let's see. But Ron, thank you so much again, dude. That's so much money. Thank you. Truly means a ton. So I'm trying to update the news, see if there's any more buzz, any more information coming out here. My mind is blown. My voice is shot. Paul, what's up, dude? Thank you a ton, man. Sauce and Quinnen for 3 firsts, a second, Mazi Smith, and Adonai Mitchell. Good work from Muji, but it definitely stings losing some of our homegrown guys. Big fan of yours since 2019. Keep it up. Paul, you're the man, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think although you hit the nail exactly right on the head, here's the key difference. Darren Muji showed up in January, and to him, they're not homegrown guys. So he's like, I didn't draft these players. I did not sign them. Well, I guess in Gardner's case, he did sign him, but he didn't put Quinnen on that deal. They didn't go through the draft evaluation, for these guys, looking at where, those teams were in relation to, where Gardner was picked at 4. You look at where the Broncos were at, and then obviously Quinnen 2019, because Muji was with Denver for a long time. He spent, I believe, his entire front office career with the Denver Broncos, which I think is very important, and there is value there. But Quinnen was going to be a top 3 pick regardless. So, it doesn't really. I don't blame Muji for stepping into a situation, being 1-7, saying, hey, if we can get these types of packages, bro, what we were talking about at the start of the stream, man, first round picks do not get moved. They don't get moved. Right? Like you have to be especially in the middle of the season, right? Because first round picks they're more open to being dealt in the offseason when there's been a little bit more work on the draft class. You have a better idea on the prospects coming out. You have more time to think. You're not like, okay, minute by minute by minute, there, clock is ticking here. That's why you see a lot of these pick swap types of deals, right? Because some teams are desperate to get off of players. So it's like, they're like, if you're, say, a team out there and you're looking to upgrade at a specific position, right? You're not offering a first. You're not offering a second right out of the gate, you know? But in the offseason, you might. Again, you have a better understanding. There's no sort of timetable. You have months and months and months to figure it out. You have months to figure out the draft. There's just not this pressure to make it happen. You don't see first getting dealt in the middle of the year. So again, for me, this is not Darren Muji picking up the phone and saying like, I got to get off these guys. We have to move them now. This feels like teams are approaching New York saying, hey, we are going to pay you top dollar. We're going to give you like the gold standard trade packages, and we're going to try to make this thing work. And it seems like, I don't know this to be a fact, we haven't heard Darren Muji speak. It seems like Muji's getting these crazy offers, and it's like, let's just do it. Like these offers are insanity. Like when we woke up this morning, we're like 1-7, have a lot of team needs. Will Brees get traded? Will Quincy get traded? It's 2:30, and we have 3 first-round picks in 2020. We have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years, and 2 seconds this year. We added a former top-end draft prospect in Mazi Smith with a lot of experience. We've added A.D. Mitchell. We have gotten off the Sauce Gardner $131 million, I think, that he's owed from here on out. I think in totality, right, with the 5th year added in. We got off of Michael Carter's contract, added Mechie and Mitchell to the room. The Jets are rebuilding, man. The Jets are rebuilding, and we are jump starting this thing. We are, full on electrocuting this thing to move it fast. So we have a cryptic tweet from Brees Hall. He's tweeted out the eye roll emoji. See, okay. Oh, hold on 1 second. Breaking news. Let's try to pull this up here. Breaking news. I thought it was from Tom Pelissero. Let's exit out of this. And I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. Tom Pelissero, Tommy P. He's like, on a wild day in Florham Park, the Jets are not expected to trade Brees Hall, though. Or not expected to trade Brees Hall, though there is still over an hour to the deadline. And this is the tweet from Brees Hall. Just a couple of dots here. So, who knows? I guess you could kind of take that in a bunch of different directions. You can say he's pissed that he's not getting traded. You could say he's pissed that he's lost a couple teammates. Actually, Carter is making that point right there, actually. Yeah, right here. Yeah, I don't know what to make of the cryptic tweets, but, I think, man, if the Jets walk out of this deadline, keeping Brees Hall, but trading Gardner and Quinnen, crazy. But yeah, Paul, going back to your point, dude. First rounders don't get dealt. Like you're looking, like think about Brownlee and Harrison Phillips. These are just trades that the Jets got, not the other trades happening around the NFL. Just the trades. Like how impactful of a piece has Brownlee been? The compensation was going from a 7th to a 6th, or going from a 6th to a 7th. That's all it took to get Jarvis Brownlee and have slot corner figured out. Jawan Briggs, right? A great rotational defensive tackle. Pick swap. These top end picks are like This is like that is the number one, whether you're picking at 32 or in the top 10, prime assets. Like that is the top tier, the gold standard, cream of the crop. That is how you jumpstart a franchise. First round picks. And the Jets grabbed 3 today so far. Absolutely insane. Paul, I appreciate you, bro. Quest, do you believe that the Jets are preparing for Fernando Mendoza and looking to set up the kid with weapons? I would be cool with that. I would honestly be cool with that, man, because here's the deal, right? Everyone's talking about Darnold. The Jets screwed up Darnold and everything, right? Darnold's looking amazing with Seattle. Why? I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around there. Coaching staff, Darnold himself, not enough weapons, whatever. A lot of pressure on him. But one of the big failure, you can't control how a prospect is going to pan out. Like if a quarterback is truly a bust, you can't really control that, right? You can only do so much homework pre-draft. But what you can control as a coaching staff, as a general manager, is the supporting cast. It's the line, it's the play caller, it's the weapons, it's the veteran quarterback behind him. Yeah, you can control that. Did the Jets have that infrastructure in place with Darnold? No. They forced him out as a rookie. Todd Bowles last year as head coach. So he needs to win. Did he have these great wide receivers? No. Didn't have enough help. Now, I don't think Darnold, he was Andrew Luck. This wasn't like a Porsche that's being locked in a Porsche without the key, Ferrari stuck in the garage, right? It's Darnold made a lot of mistakes, but he's a first round rookie, a young first round rookie, right? He's going to make mistakes. Fast forward, Zach Wilson. Did they give him a great infrastructure in place? Rookie first year play caller, not adding a veteran backup quarterback to help him out. The New York Jets quarterback room that year had 0 regular season appearances combined through 3 quarterbacks. Mike White, Zach Wilson, James Morgan. You hear it all the time, right? Oh, Pat Mahomes had a great mentor in Alex Smith. Tom Brady sat behind Bledsoe. It's kind of funny because you have like Trevor Lawrence and Andrew Luck. They kind of ruin it for everybody. They set the bar so high about with stepping in and looking solid and functional so early that it's like Justin Herbert's another one of those guys. To me, just because they're doing it doesn't mean that you can just assume that everyone is going to be that. Oh, you're a top 5 pick. Okay, you're just going to come in and be amazing. No, you need to give them weapons. Don't fall into the same damn trap that we always fall into, media included, right? Like national, it just feels like whenever the Jets pick a quarterback, it's especially in the first round, it's the knight in shining armor. It's the guy showing up to save the franchise, to save this pathetic, pitiful franchise. Everything that player does is looked at, is praised. If they start to struggle, there's extra scrutiny, and he's labeled as this, massive bust. Now the Jets have picked some bust quarterbacks for sure, right? Obviously, it's not all the Jets' fault every single time. Zach just got demoted to QB3 down in Miami behind Quinn Ewers now. So, but it doesn't. I don't care. The point is, whether you're drafting a bust at the quarterback position or a future Hall of Famer, it's your job as a general manager to make sure that you actually put the quarterback in a position to have success. Sign that veteran, right? Sign that great teammate to support him and to help him, learn an offense, to help him in the practice room, to help him or on the practice field, to help him in the meeting rooms, right? Get some targets who can actually get open. Get him some protection up front. Get him a solid running game. Now, of course, if you're picking 1 or 2 or 3, you don't have all these things figured out already, but like it's got to be a point. Like, yeah, you are like the first overall pick. Taking a quarterback in the first round is a massive investment. Like anything in life, you don't take these big gambles and then just don't have a plan for it. like I have no idea on like how to kind of prep the situation. Blows my mind, Douglas not bringing in a veteran to help Zach out, not having a solid supporting cast. We can't make that mistake again. We just can't. So it's a great point, Quest. Sean, what's up, dude? Trade terms. The Jets get the higher of the Cowboys' 2 first-round picks in 2027. Their own or Green Bay's. That is freaking sick. I figured because we're getting a 2 and Smith that we were just going to get the worst of the 2 firsts. Just, who probably Green Bay's, right? But we're getting the better of the 2. Muji is freaking dealing. Okay, so here's Chris Ballard, Colts GM on Gardner. Having the opportunity to acquire a talented player like Sauce Gardner was one we did not want to pass on. He was a player that we scouted heavily coming out of college, and there's a reason he was the 4th overall pick. He's a proven cornerback. His skill and competitive nature. Am I on mute? No. Competitive nature will elevate everyone's play on the defensive unit. We're thrilled. He's a Colt. On the same note, A.D. Mitchell's a great person and a great player. We believe he will have success in New York, and we wish him the best as he enters the next chapter of his career. Yeah, this to me is like a buy low situation where the Colts have too many pass catchers, too many players that need the ball offensively. They're not going to pay Michael Pittman this huge deal and then not throw it to him. They're not going to let Jonathan Taylor rot on the bench. They're not going to draft Tyler Warren with a top 15 pick, I believe 14th overall, to give him 1 target a game. The Colts have a lot of playmakers on that roster. There's a very, very good chance that the Colts still like Mitchell. Because they can say publicly whatever they want, but like behind closed doors, yeah, he's been disappointing. But there's a chance that they're like, we want to keep him, but all right, if this is what gets the deal done, fine, let's do it. There is that chance. So I love this compensation, man. I love this compensation. So I'm trying to scroll the way down to the comments here. I'm just going to quickly mute myself to blow my nose. Apologies. Yeah, so still, let's quickly circle back here. Hold on. Rossini, the Jets asking price for Brees is a 3rd round pick. Yeah, okay, so we already know that. There's nothing new there. Great call, by the way. I just saw a comment. Bo Nix was another one of those experienced players. Yeah. Higher is the worst. Yeah, I have to double check with that Schefter tweet with that whole like the Jets get the better of the 2 first-round picks. 318. Remember the time. Pat, what's up, dude? That training camp shirt. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. You know what? Tomorrow I got to go back in and make a swap to it, bro. Make a swap to it. But I mean, you sign a guy to a 5-year deal, and he's still on his rookie deal. Like, who would have thought that player gets traded that year? Absolutely insane, man. I appreciate the 5, dude. Shoot me over a DM or an email, and I'll see if I can maybe send you a cool piece of like Jets memorabilia or something like that. Just because Sauce isn't on the team anymore. ESPN just reported. Let's see. Yeah, so still nothing from the breaking news. Still kind of waiting. I mean, what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to stay hang for another hour? It's up to you guys because I'm coming back on at 7 with Tyson. Uh, yeah, Archman is not coming out this season. There's no way. Yeah, it's similar to the Jamal Adams deal, man, for sure. What's going on? Awesome. Hope you're doing well, dude. Thanks so much for hopping in, man. Live, stay live, keep it rolling. Cool. Arch Manning, yeah, I don't think he's awful. I just think he's a young player. It's another player, man. That's just like the media treatment of some of these guys is just unreal. It's unreal. By the way, we have Spot Rack, Sport Track, however you pronounce the name of that site. I love that site, but I can never get the name right. They posted the financial ramifications here. Let's quickly search that up because that's super, super relevant here. Brees wants out, apparently. Ian, per Rosenblatt, Jets have offers for Jermaine and Brees. I don't want to trade Jermaine. You can sell me on trading Brees, but I don't want to trade Jermaine, man, because then we're really looking at a total rebuild. Nick, initial thoughts on Mendoza, Kirk Cousins comp. I've seen the Kirk Cousins comp. I wouldn't say that. I would say from what I've seen from Mendoza, the player that he reminds me of the most, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying that this player is going to turn into this. I'm not going to say like the pro comparison thing. I think sometimes gets taken like a bunch of different ways. When I compare, when I say like, okay, in my opinion, like a college player's pro comparison is X player. I'm not saying that's the type of career that he's going to have. I'm saying that's like the archetype of player. Like that's the skill set of that player. In other words, how would a player like that do in a different team, a different coaching staff and whatnot? The player that Mendoza reminds me of, and I haven't seen anybody say this, but I think he's really, really similar to when Sam Bradford was coming out of Oklahoma, where he didn't have this rifle arm, but he had a really quick release. He was pinpoint accurate, made great decisions with the football offense that was very get rid of the football, like quick, like, okay, snap the ball, 1-2, balls out, half step drop, balls out, lots of screens, 3-step drop, balls out. Mendoza does a great job of layering the football, midfield, leading wide receivers, throwing these guys open. Bradford did the same exact thing. Think about Bradford's injury back when was that? 2008 in college, right? He has this big injury and he's still the first overall pick. Due in part because of how accurate of a passer he was, how quick of a decision maker he was, right? Understanding the defense, saying, okay, I know where my open target's going to be, throwing that player open. He wasn't this read and react like, okay, I got to wait for him to get open. I don't know what I'm seeing. And I know that comp might sound a little scary because Bradford ultimately didn't work out and stuff for St. Louis, but I think I think Mendoza is more mobile, obviously, than Bradford. But Bradford was just like, he wasn't, he didn't have this Mahomes, Josh Allen level arm or anything like that, but he was just so good at throwing accurate passes. And ironically enough, the New York Jets need a quarterback that throws accurate passes. So, I think Kirk Cousins, the comparison gets thrown out because of Mendoza's personality. And I get it, right? He's a pocket passer and stuff, but I don't know. The Kirk Cousins thing to me just kind of feels a little a little too generic. I don't know. I think the Sam Bradford one, he's just the player that kind of jumps out to me. Like when I'm thinking about like Sam, what was it? His Heisman Trophy winning year when he was just so deadly accurate. And then like you saw it too in Philly, like running the Chip Kelly offense. Because Sam Bradford's biggest knock on him is at the time as a prospect, like durability, like how is he going to handle the injury and stuff. But also, because everyone knew he's not mobile, but learning a pro style offense. I don't think Mendoza would have, I don't think that concern is there. If you go back and you look at Cal, what Mendoza did at Cal. So Mendoza was my QB4 coming into the year, because he was set up with weapons at Indiana. And if you go back and you watch what he was able to do at Cal, he was always someone that you felt like he's spearheading the operation. It was Mendoza's up here and here's the rest of the team. And similar, this is going to be like an extreme example, but like Andrew Luck with the Colts, like think of like, or I'm trying to think of like an NFL, like another example of where you just feel like the quarterback is just this massive engine and it's just like he's getting everyone to play better, but the team isn't all that great because the team, the roster isn't all that great, the coaching isn't all that great. And he goes to Indiana and he's been developed nice. He's, in my opinion, he's so much better today than he was back at Cal, but what we saw last year at Cal was impressive. But he's not a perfect prospect. I wouldn't say he's an Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence type of prospect coming out of the draft. There are still flaws like blitzing Mendoza. There's a bit of an issue there. Like you look at like Mendoza's production, like overall completion percentage and whatnot versus clean pockets and blitzes. Big difference there. Now, is that the end all be all? No. Is it a concern? Yeah, but it's not the end all be all. Look at a guy like Derek Carr, right? He came out 2014 draft class out of Fresno State. He was horrible against the blitz. Horrible. He didn't know where to go with the football. Errant passes against the blitz. Awful. But with the Raiders over time, he actually became at one point the best quarterback in the National Football League against the blitz. So that's an area where as the game slows down, and you also have to be physically tough and mentally tough to, hang in the pocket and stuff. You can get better in that aspect. But if you have the baseline traits of size, mechanics, quick release, you can process at their accurate passes. If we give him protection, if we give him weapons, I fully expect this team to hand the keys over and for him to actually operate in NFL offense. So I like Mendoza a lot, man. Synced, what's up, dude? No pressure to, keep on sending in super chats, man. I appreciate it. Dude, settle into that seat. This is gonna be a long day. Got another hour, man. My phone's at 4% or 5%. Red Flow, what's up, dude? Thanks so much, man. Muji working on that Breeze deal. Prefer Mendoza in 2026 or holding off for 2027? Dan, I appreciate the super chat, man. I really like your logo. I don't know if you're a Knicks fan or a Mets fan. I have to wait and see where the Jets actually fall in the draft. I don't know where, if the Jets have pick 7 or 9 or something and we have to trade up to go get Mendoza, I don't really know how I would feel about that because, whenever a team with extra draft capital is calling, that team knows that they have extra draft cap. The other team on the receiving end knows that they have extra draft capital, so they're not afraid to just, jack the offer up. So let me just plug my phone in real quick. So I think for me, if we're in a position, if say we're at 1 or we're at 3 or wherever, if Mendoza's on the board, I think I'm going to take him. If it was me right now and it's early, right? We're still in the college season. who knows how the college football playoffs roll, right? I'm intrigued with Dante Moore. I am intrigued. He reminds me of there's some Jaden Daniels, there's some CJ Stroud with Dante Moore. But again, he's 20 years old with not a lot of I mean, he'd have more starts than Ty Simpson if you go back to the UCLA days, but I don't know. I don't like the one thing I think the Jets really need is someone who can handle noise, can handle pressure, right? I mean, you think of like Eli Manning, coming out of Ole Miss, and he handles the Giants or handled the Giants media market, New York media market easily. Good times, hard times, wins, Super Bowls, losses, bad seasons, horrible games, 3 interception games. He always was a professional. I love that about Eli. Look at like Derek Jeter. Look at Jalen Brunson. Like these guys, they handle pressure well, and I think you need that in this market. You can't be bringing in these guys that are just mentally fragile. And it's not to say that there's no pressure in Tennessee, there's no pressure in Jacksonville, New Orleans, smaller media markets. But I mean, just look at the coverage of Justin Fields. Literally every line of dialogue in Justin Fields' press conferences is broken down and talked about. Articles being written on it, right? Videos being made, practice throws, preseason, everything is so hyper analyzed. If you have someone in that position that can't handle the successes and the failures, the ups and the downs, and it's just going to be a roller coaster, that to me just feels like it's not you're not in a good position for the long term. Because as much as handling losses is important, you also have to handle the highs and not be too full of yourself and stuff like that. And I think Mendoza is absolutely fantastic in that department, right? I think he's not even on social media. Like he doesn't even run his social media. He seems like a great guy. So I like that question, man. If Mendoza's there, I think I'm going with him. And here's another thing too, for what it's worth. If the Jets finish with the first overall pick, I don't know if there's a player worth taking. Like I know everyone loves Ruben Bain, and I like Ruben Bain a lot, but to me, it doesn't scream number 1 overall pick to me. And if I'm in that position, when was the last time the Jets had the number 1 pick? Keyshawn Johnson in the 90s. You can't mess that. You can't essentially buy low, and you're forced to draft. I get it, but I think if the Jets finish first, you got to go quarterback. In my opinion, it's early, but right, like because when I'm thinking of like Ruben Bain and I like Peter Woods a lot. Like there's some players that I really really like. Jordan Tyson makes sense for this Jets team. I mean, he's just so electric. There's so many players I like. Caleb Downs, if the Jets weren't in the top 10. Arvell Reese, I think, is really interesting. But the point is, when I look at Bain, like I think of like a Bradley Chubb type of player. Bradley Chubb back in Denver. I just don't know if that's worth the first overall pick and who knows? Like that's just my subjective opinion. I could be dead wrong, and Ruben Bain can be, putting up 15 sack seasons. I just think if you have the number 1 overall pick, you have to maximize it. If you don't have a long-term option at the quarterback position, you gotta obviously you have to be sold on who you're taking, which I guess is the point of your question here. But 2027, I think is going to be a really good class for quarterbacks. So don't force it this year, I guess would be my advice. Red Flow, what's up, dude? No way, man. That's awesome. Everyone seems to notice it a little bit more now than they did this morning. Yeah, dude. That means the world, man. That really does. I really appreciate you picking one up, dude. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of fun putting those things together. EJ, yeah, sad to see them go. Yeah, it's look, Jets play on Sunday, and we're not gonna be rolling out Gardner or Quinnen. It's gonna be weird. But EJ, I appreciate you, bro. Or EG, sorry. John, thanks so much, dude. Keep Fields, build wide receiving core offensive guard, and offense or outside linebacker. Well, if you want outside linebacker, Arvell Reese is your guy, dude. He is absolutely amazing as a pass rusher, as a Mike line. Like he could do so. Like there are moments where he is literally just dominating a tackle with one arm, just moving that guy around like he's not even there. Ken, dude, I appreciate you, man. I know Muji sat in a room with just a phone. Yeah. Tristan, dude, thank you a ton, man. I say go Ty Simpson. Plays against pro style defenses, dissects defenses with his eyes, a legit dual threat. Yeah, that's a good point coming out of high school. Sign Brissett and make him a starter for a while. That structure, I love. Like that structure right there is a better structure than when the Jets actually drafted Zach Wilson, what we saw. It's a reality, right? You're giving him, in this case, Simpson, an actual mentor, someone who's excited about coming to work and helping out the young guy, someone who's selfless like that. I really, really like that. You know, not many players are like that in this day and age. Here's another point about Ty Simpson, though, which I freaking love. This guy's a gamer, man. He goes to Georgia, gets the win, right? Missouri gets the win. Like he didn't play his best ball against South Carolina, but I mean, as you know, man, the SEC is just a gauntlet like you can't just, even the mid to lower tier SEC teams, they're no joke. You know, Kentucky, Auburn, like there's no joke there. But yeah, Ty Simpson's a gamer. Struggled against Florida State, but first start in the Doak, man. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to struggle, but dude, excellent point, bro. I appreciate the 20, man. You definitely did not have to do that. Really, really means a lot. Patrick, thoughts on Mac Jones if we can't get Mendoza? I've always not minded Mac Jones, to be honest, and I do think that Mac would actually function behind the Jets offensive line. But A, we need more receivers if Mac is the guy. And B, we could have had Mac this past offseason and the Jets chose Fields. So maybe there's some hindsight 2020 and the Jets are like, let's go Mac. But I don't know. And again, I like Mac Jones. I don't think he's this great franchise quarterback, but I think he is. I think he's one of the top 32, in other words. And you know, if you put Mac on this team, how much better would they be? I think they would be better. But what makes me nervous is Mac Jones, who's fragile and he's missed a lot of time, dropping back in the pocket and just waiting for guys to get open. Again, the Lazards and everybody. And right now, San Francisco can't move on from him. Like they need Mac. They need him. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. Kat, what's up? How do you feel about Aller? I wouldn't mind keeping Fields and drafting Aller and seeing if he develops. I like what I saw before he got injured. Aller's such an interesting case study, man, because he will literally make through. By the way, hold on. Okay, no breaking news. I was just double checking. Aller will literally make throws that NFL quarterbacks can't. His arm strength is effortless. He throws the ball with so much ease. It's crazy. Like he has velocity. He has the torque to really push the ball down the field. From a stature standpoint, like he can hang in the pocket, stand in, he can extend plays a little bit. But as far as him being I think Aller would be a really good option for a team that has a starter in place now who, is like unquestionably like the guy. Like I think Aller with a team like Stafford and the Rams, where Aller can sit for 2 years and learn, get healthy and learn. And then he comes in with a good offensive coaching staff and stuff. With the Jets, I just don't know if they would treat him like, oh my God, you're the savior. We need you to play right away. Fields or whoever, Mac is the starting quarterback for a season. They have one bad game. Oh, time to turn to Aller. And there's just like this pressure on someone who, I do have questions about Aller's accuracy because again, he makes these crazy throws, but then he'll miss a screen. he'll miss a wide open slant, and he definitely needs to be developed. And I just don't know if the Jets are a team right now that have. I don't think it would be a horrendous fit, but I think there's other teams out there that maybe make more sense for Aller. Let me think of another. I don't know if he would develop the right way with the Raiders. I think if I was the Raiders, I would actually trade for Richardson, just get a late round pick for him, have him sit a year behind Geno and roll. Yeah, I'm not sure. Wilson, dude, I appreciate you, man. Thanks. I don't know if you had a question or something, but yeah, I'm looking now. I don't see a question here. But I appreciate the 5, man. If you have a question, man, shoot it on him or comment. Ian, take a look at Ole Miss QB Trinidad Chambliss. Yeah, he's a really. I mean, who saw that coming, right? Ferris State coming in. I mean, you can definitely argue, okay, great situation with Lane and whatnot, but you cannot take away what Chambliss is doing so far with Ole Miss. I mean, they look like they're on a one-way track to the college football playoffs. Yeah, he's done some awesome things, extending plays and whatnot. So he's been a lot of fun to watch. Let's see here. Let's do a quick update. Nothing as of late. Nothing as of late. We still have 50 minutes before the deadline. This has been a lot of fun, by the way. I don't really go live much. But this has been awesome. Still over 1,000 people hanging in the chat. Like this is sick, dude. I have it. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, so here's a tweet here from Rossini. Reaction from a league source to the Jets trade deadline deadline day trades. They took a top 5 defense and tore it apart. Yeah, I disagree with that. I love Quinnen and Gardner's good. But in what world is this defense top 5? They're not a top 5 team in defending against the pass. They're not a top 5 team in rushing the passer. They're not a top 5 team in defensive time of possession. They're not a top 5 team in stopping the run. Takeaways. Like, no, this to me is just, let's try to dunk on the Jets while we can. I don't get it. Good players. The Jets will hurt without these players. But again, like we were saying before, I think short-term pain, long-term gain type of move here. Ty Simpson's a beast, man. But I think we gotta just be a little careful with the lack of starts. Trubisky. Look at the track record of QBs with sub 15 starts. How many of these guys hit the NFL that following year and are just boom, they're rolling. Although the NFL game is more so built for the college, or they adopt some college philosophy, so I think the transition is easier. Also, the officiating protects quarterbacks pretty much at every turn. Dude, I love Dowdle, but I don't think the Panthers are moving him. But Ron, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed. How much eligibility does he have left? Stewie, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks so much for hopping in and sending the 2 over. Any players you don't want the Jets trading? Great question. Jermaine Johnson. I don't want to trade. Quincy is my favorite player on the defense, but you can sell me on it, like objectively speaking. Like if I put my fandom aside, like if I was like a, I don't know, Bucks fan. I say that because there's a guy walking across the street with a Bucks hat on. If I am a Bucks fan and I say, oh, the 1-7 Jets are trading a linebacker who I believe is 30 on an expiring deal for a draft pick, I would say smart move. So, but the fan in me is like, oh, he's the heartbeat of the defense. I freaking love him. old school, like early 2000s linebacker, like my type of player. But objectively, it does make sense. Yes, dude. Alex, bro, insane with Brownlee and Briggs, dude. Here, here's a funny point, dude. By the way, to your point, every fan base that the Jets have dealt with so far. Well, I shouldn't say every because I haven't really seen the Colts reaction yet. But Browns fans with Briggs, Titans fans with Brownlee, and Vikings fans with Harrison Phillips, in all three cases, they're like, "What are we doing? What's the point of this?" These are young. Well, for Tennessee and Cleveland, they're like, these are young players that shown something, controllable and cheap, and we're getting nothing in return for them. Pick swap. In the case of Harrison Phillips, it's like, okay, a win now team moving on from a veteran rotational piece who appeared in all 17 games, who could play in a 4-3 or 3-4, who knows the AFC East really well from his time back in Buffalo. I remember the Vikings fans' reactions were like, what is this? What are we doing here? I think that's I think that's a good sign, as Jets fans, to not only just see that reaction, but then to have the confirmation, all three players showing up and just boom, boom, boom. They're working out. They're working out. They're working out. Yeah, Carnell Tate would be really interesting. I think right now he's probably a top 20 pick. 318, man. You keep on talking about 318, bro. You have something you got something up your sleeve? You have something that we don't know? Crazy, man. Crazy. We'll keep an eye on the time. We got 4 minutes left. If you're right, man, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Do I think Missouri will get into the playoffs? I don't know how bad Bo's injury is at the quarterback position. I don't know. I mean, with Ole Miss, with Texas A&M, with Alabama, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think if anything, they might be. I don't know. It's too tough for me to call. League sources are so unreliable. These guys live in the past and just bash the Jets. Yeah. By the way, that's a sick Raptor Charmeleon profile pic, dude. Yeah, I mean that quote here, I mean, who actually believes that the Jets have a top 5 defense right now? And based off of the track record of Briggs and Brownlee and Harrison and Mason Taylor and Membu and take your pick, Malachi Moore, Mazi Smith and Mechie and Adonai Mitchell. What if these guys work out? Just put your mind there for a second. What if Mitchell grabs 40 catches, 50 catches? That's kind of a weird tweet that I left on weird thing that I left on the screen there. Imagine if Mitchell snags 45, 50 catches in, the rest of the season. And it's just like, we don't need a wide receiver too. How crazy is that? Or imagine if like Mechie just comes onto the scene and it's just lighting teams up over the middle of the field or something. Or Smith is just like a rotational boom. He's in the lineup and he's making an impact. No one's asking him, hey, you got to replace Quinnen. You got to be a first team all Pro Bowl type of player. But can you be playable? Can you be functional? Can you be someone that is reliable and we can count on you? That's really, I think, the question. K, dude, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing well, man. Well, today makes my Mendoza and Tate dream plausible. Yeah. I don't think Tate's going to be a round 2 guy, but with adding that second first, it just depends on because I mean, I would be lying if I thought that Carnell Tate coming into the year was going to be a first round pick. Um, It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. Stanley, how's it going, dude? Come on, we might have won 2 more games with Quinnen and Sauce. We can finish with the top 2 pick and get our quarterback without these guys. Let's go nowhere without a good rookie QB. Top 5 defense on paper. 350s when the next wave is coming. Jets want Manning in 2027. Drew Aller's not him. Yeah. Again, I think Aller needs to be on a team that can really they have like an established coach and everything like that. Like I don't want to see Aller go to Miami or a team Cleveland or something like that where there's questions about the coaching staff. Like he needs to go to like a Rams 49ers. I don't know if they make a lot of sense, but or like I guess it kind of depends on the timetable of Aller, but say for example, like Detroit takes Aller, in the mid rounds or like on day 3 or something, and they just say like in 3 years you're going to take over for Goff, and you're going to sit and develop for 3 years. Like I don't know, it could be interesting. Ryan, dude, thanks so much, bro. Something to note: Rick Spielman is this front office. Look at his draft picks throughout the years. Yeah, man, that's it was really cool how the Jets brought him in. As a veteran, it still looks weird. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Yeah, like you have this former GM literally helping Daramuji, the first year GM, who's shown a lot of positives through his time in Denver. Sorry, I'm just shooting a quick text back. This has been an absolutely insane day. Absolutely insane day. And real quick before, we refresh and keep on talking about this stuff, I just wanted to quickly say thanks. Last couple of days, there's just been some personal stuff going on. And it's been a lot, which and I was gonna talk about this in a video, but I haven't been as active in the last 2 comment sections. I haven't really been able to dive in. I've had 0 time to do it. Just with everything going on, and yeah, it's been a lot. So to come on here on trade deadline day and have over 1,000 people in here and just everyone's chilling, hanging out. I mean, so many people are sending in super chats. Obviously, no pressure to ever do that. But for real, man, like it means the world. Like it truly does. I really appreciate it and love hanging with you guys. But Ryan, dude, thanks again for the 5. Rick Spielman's a beast. Sorry about that. Cars honking outside. Stewie, dude, thank you so much, man. Thanks so much for the content. Sucks that we've been so bad. Can't wait for us to be good and see a reaction. Bro, when we get and I was talking to my buddy Manny about this yesterday. We haven't been 500 in 10 years. That's crazy. Imagine this team getting a wild card spot. Like just how electric the fan base is going to be, man. Like it's going to be insane. Gonna be nuts. And Stewie, bro, that's a huge super chat, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you a ton. Really means a lot. Will, thanks so much for the 5, man. We're with you bro. I appreciate that. I understand being a creator for this team is probably tough. Oh, no. What I was talking about before has nothing to do with the Jets. Just bringing my cat to the vet, and I had to go across the state, for something else, and yeah, it's just been a long couple days, but I'm hoping by the end of the week things are looking better. But yeah, I appreciate you, Will. Tristan, dude, thanks a ton. If you don't draft Simpson, get Bernard in round 2. Dude, Bernard's a beast. But how much? I wonder how much eligible is he? A senior? I wonder if he's a senior. I'm not. I have to double check on that. Brendan, dude, I appreciate you, man. Good to hear from you. Thank you so much for that, man. I really do. Really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for that 5. Quincy just posted. What is Quincy saying now? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you guys can see this. Uh, yeah, kind of. I mean, we all know what that means, right? Like last, player in the room. I don't know. I don't know if he gets traded or not. I mean, San Francisco needs help at linebacker. Yeah, Atlanta needs help at linebacker. Tampa needs help at linebacker. The Raiders need help at linebacker. There's a lot of teams, man. I don't want to see Quincy go, dude. I don't want to see Quincy go. But I understand it again. I understand it. Romeo, top five. Dude, bro, I hope you're doing well, man. I love your streams with Tyson. Doing the live game day reactions. I always tune into them. You guys are the best. Top five defense Monday through Friday. You know it. You know it. Rich, what's happening, bro? What's happening? Great win against Houston yesterday. Hope you're doing well, dude. Armand, what's happening? Per Connor Hughes spoke to a team that the Jets. Hold on 1 second. Per Connor Hughes spoke to a team that called the Jets recently about Garrett Wilson. Not the case with Wilson. With Wilson, conversations did not progress. He's untouchable. Sweet. That's great. That's awesome. I do not want to see Garrett Wilson go. Absolutely not. No, I don't have his notification. I don't have Connor Hughes notifications turned on. I should though. I should. We can see what he's saying though. Hold on. Quinnen Williams' relationship with the Jets has been deteriorating. Hey man, I love Quinnen. I'll always love Quinnen, man. He's a beast. And I hope he balls out for Dallas, man. I mean, the fact of the matter is he's all he's done here is produce and lose. So if I'm Quinnen, man, I don't want to say I'm happy to be in Dallas, but I'd be happy for a fresh start. And I'm happy for him, man. Quinnen has never taken a low blow or, taken any sort of unnecessary shots at coaches and stuff. I mean, he's voiced his opinion and he's been frustrated, but in my opinion, man, Quinnen, he's a good enough player to win games. It's about time that he wins. So I have no problems at all with Quinnen getting sick and tired of losing. That's you. That's all you, man. That's all you. Jets are making the playoffs in 27. Hey, I like that. I like that. Let me move off of that because the whole copyright thing. Traylon Burks, Commanders. Dude, this live's a lot of fun. Joe, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I just try to, come on here and, be myself and talk about something that I love, which is football. Football is like my undying passion, and it just kills me that the Jets lose every year. Every year, this team is under 500. Yeah, not good since Quinnen got here. Hope you're doing well, Grant. Good to see you, man. They called about Garrett, but yeah, dude. C. Holmes, bro, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I don't know if you meant to send in a question or something, but let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing a question here. So yeah, Holmes, if you have a question, man, shoot it in or DM me or something like that. I'd love to connect. Oh, here. If there's a way to take back a super chat, man, feel free to go ahead and do that. Like if you sent that first one in by mistake, or this one. Having 3 first rounders in 2027 means we may be able to afford going BPA in the first round this year and possibly quarterback in 2027. Here's my deal. Although that's a fantastic, fantastic point. Here's, oh man, we're approaching the last half hour. Crazy. Here's my slight pushback. There's a massive portion of the Jets fan base that wants Glenn fired after 8 games. If we hit the off season and we don't get a quarterback and we start next season and we're losing games and we don't have a quarterback, I don't know if Glenn will be here. I don't know if Glenn will survive a whole second year with this amount of resources and not going QB. Now you can do like a 1-year placeholder thing and like try to sell it as, oh, we're trying. But if you want to go down that path, you have to like actually put together a solid, plan of attack to put in place, and then also a solid marketing plan to give fans some hope, right? Like is Kyler Murray that guy? Like who knows who that veteran stopgap is, So, but I appreciate the super chat, Holmes. Okay, so it's a boy. I'm not taking the name. Lucario. What part of Florida are you in? I'm in Tampa. Yeah, Melbourne. I've only been to Melbourne once, and that's kind of a ways from here. But I grew up on the east coast of Florida, South Florida, but moved over here in 2020. I think that's a sick name, Lucario. I like that name, man. And I appreciate the $20, dude. It's absolutely insane. No pressure at all to keep on. Instead of sending in the super chats, get Lucario a Jets jersey. Actually, I don't want to say get him a Jets jersey because he might be traded. Who knows who is going to remain on this Jets team and who's going to be let go. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, Ron. Pat, what does the safety market and draft, the safety market / draft look like? Are you talking like safety market overall with free agency, including the draft? Let me pull something up for you real quick. It's it's for a video that I have planned. It's like for future free agents, but I'm not gonna post it anytime soon just because I don't know. There's whenever I post stuff in the middle of the season talking about something after the season, I always just get like a lot of like angry messages and stuff like that. So I always just try to stay away from it. And I get it, but I totally understand it. But yeah, I have that video done. But let me pull up the notes because I have all the free agent targets that I think would make really good sense for the Jets. Because I think I have 11 names on that list. Let me see. Yeah. So one of them is Alec Pierce, but let me just highlight the safeties quickly, and I will tell you a couple free 1 to 2 free agent. Let me see. Okay. So for free agent safeties, Nick Cross, ironically enough, a Colt is an interesting option if the Jets want to. I think he's having a good year, but he's also young. I believe he played at Maryland. I remember him when he was coming out of the NFL draft. I liked his game in college a lot, and he was one of those guys that I was kind of like pushing the Jet, suggesting that I think the Jets he would maybe make some sense there. I have to double check on the contract, but is Cam Curl a free agent or did he re-up? I think he might have re-upped on a new deal. But I'll tell you what, man, Moore from Michigan in like round 2 might be a little too high. Actually, no, because the Jets have 2 second rounders this year. Let's freaking go. Yeah, Rod Moore from Michigan could as like a roaming safety in the back end as a center fielder. I love what he can do. If he slips, oh wait, never mind. The Jets don't have a 3rd round pick. Yeah, ideally, I think round 3 for him. Right now, it's early, but round 3. Um, but yeah, we don't have a third, so we might have to go round 2. And then Teo Johnson, okay, from Utah, is my favorite player in the entire class. Not saying he's the best, not saying he's the number 1 safety, but if you have 5 minutes, if you have some spare time and you don't know Teo Johnson, just go on YouTube. Let me see if I could just drop a link real quick in the chat so you can click on it. Just watch some Teo Johnson highlights. I'm not going to ask you to sit down and watch like a 4-hour Utah game unless you want to, of course. But if you only have the time to watch some highlights, I highly recommend it. I think he's going to be a riser. He is everything I love about a safety: closing speed, heady player, defensive IQ, defensive recognition, right? What is the offense doing? Where is the play going? What direction, which pass catcher is the quarterback going to be throwing the ball to? Why is he doing that? And having the burst to close on those gaps. So defensive IQ plus instincts plus natural talent and speed to close is a great, great, great trio combination to have in a safety, right? If you're like a high school coach, look for those 3 qualities. And the defensive IQ thing can get better with time, or like the play recognition, how much they study and stuff. But college coaches, high school coaches, I mean, even like Pop Warner football, like if you have a player that can close on the ball fast, um, and has the recognition of like he's moving, say for example, like it's going to be, a 3-step drop, slip screen to the left, and the safety is instantly picking up on the offensive lineman, rolling out, to the left to go, make blocks in open space. And he's flying over there instantly or creeping up like in the first like couple like split seconds of the play. That is awesome. And that's a really, really good sign of safety like trajectory for the pros. But another thing I love about Teo Johnson is his hitting, man. He hits so hard. And he's a slender dude. He's not this LaRon Landry type of safety, this, Ed Reed type. I don't want to say he's a skinny guy, but he's on the leaner end. But this guy will pop people over the middle of the field. He will lay you out. He will put his body on the line, sideline to sideline speed. I love Teo Johnson, man. And quick spoiler, he's going to be in my Jets mock draft. That I have written down, but I haven't filmed it yet. So Nick Cross maybe in free agency, but Teo Johnson is someone who I think could step in easily to Cisco's role. Thank you so much for that, man. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Longest 30 minutes of the day. Yeah. So how are you guys feeling? What do you guys think? Hold up. Schultz just said Brees wants to be traded. Jordan, is it with an I or an A? Yeah, A. Let's see. Wow. Okay, so that clarifies his tweets. Jets Brees Hall wants to be traded, I'm told. A little over 1 hour until the deadline, but Brees wants to be out. Kind of weird seeing that and reading that, but we'll see. 25 minutes left. Dude, Quinnen is no longer a Jet. I can't even really the Gardner trade for some reason, like it just sunk in so quick, but the Quinnen, like it's not even hitting me. Genesis Smith. We need Styles, bro. Styles is an animal, but Arvell Reese will be a top 10 pick. I think Raiders, Arizona, but Raiders need a quarterback. Well, Arizona could maybe need a quarterback. Bengals, maybe. Arvell Reese is an absolute beast. Absolute beast. Schultz making stuff up. Yeah. Yeah, who the heck knows at this point what's going on here? Put the link for the safety. I want to okay, let me I just have to pause it as soon as the video starts because I don't want like the copyright thing. You know, any sort of let's see. Click on this one. Yeah, see, like these ads are gonna start playing. Let's see. Grab this. And I wonder if I could post it directly through StreamYard. See if that works. I don't know um if that if it's actually linked in the chat because I'm looking at the chat from through a different window here, but um it's Tao Johnson. Just type in TAO and then Johnson from Utah, and some highlight vids will pop up. I think he's a beast. But right now he's projected to go like round 4, round 5. I'm like, what? Like to me, that's so low. Man, most bittersweet trade deadline of my life. Yeah, there's positives to both. Slack Wolf, what's going on, man? You guys really think trading Sauce Gardner was a good thing? Rookie of the year out of his first 3 seasons, 2 great Pro Bowl seasons. And do you think it's a guarantee that they will draft the right players? Yeah, so here's the thing, like Indy got a great player. I think the Jets will hurt losing Gardner. But I think because we have a replacement there, because of Gardner's contract and the Jets would save a lot of money, it's just like another benefit in this whole thing. And obviously, the main attraction, which is the compensation, those 3 things combined make me feel pretty good about it. I have faith in Darren Muji to turn this thing around. I'm really excited for Darren Muji's presser. Oh my god, that's going to be must-see TV. I think he's going to meet the media right at 4, so I might dip out like right at 4 so everyone can just, jump over to that and go watch it. Maybe 4:30. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to go live, but it's trade deadline day. He just made 2 massive franchise-changing trades. I would like to hear his thoughts. So I think it's fair to say that the Colts are getting a great player and they're going to be better on defense. And I hope Gardner balls out, but I think the compensation is just so good. Like, look at the Micah Parsons trade. It's similar, and Micah Parsons is arguably the best defensive player in football. So I I don't think Gardner's even the best corner in football. So I don't know. I really, really, really love the compensation. Use Brees to fill that 3rd round. Yeah, the thing is who's going to be trading for Brees? Who's going to give up a 3rd rounder for Brees? Oh my god. Weird, weird, weird to look at. I wonder how the Cowboys fans feel about this. Probably not a good idea to scroll down on that. But Ron, I appreciate the 5, man. I like that theory, right? You could use Brees, get a 3rd round pick back. But if you trade Brees, man, like we're gonna be pretty like we're losing some talent here at the deadline. And the rest of the season might be pretty rough. Yeah, it's in there. Okay, cool. It's a great point, Steven. That's a really, really good point. Yeah, Sean, 2022 Brees was fun. Yeah. That's a great question, Dan. I think so. I think so. James, just take whatever you can for Brees at this stage. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to keep a player here if he's going to be not good in the locker room or if he's going to be tweeting and he's going to be, a detriment to the rest of the franchise. Not saying that Brees will do that, but if you request a trade, say you want to be out and you don't get traded, there's a chance. It's not the pint, and he hasn't been the same since his rookie year, or since he was a rookie. Yeah, I think he looked his best early on, and since that injury, looked a little different for sure. Um, but he's still a good player. Like, you put Brees Hall in the Chiefs, he's gonna ball out. He's gonna do well with the Chargers or someone. Grant, 2026, 2027 first. Mitchell for Sauce, a second and a first, and Smith for Q. League valued Sauce more than Q. Kind of agree. It's interesting. I think. Well, the thing is with Q, how old is Sauce? 24, 5? Because Q is 27. I don't know, but then again, you can say that Indy might be more desperate because they played two different positions. Dallas had that extra first to dump, right? They could have, in other words, it's easier for Dallas internally to negotiate and to think about moving on from picks because they have so many. If Indy is like complete win now and Shane Steichen is, really trying to push this thing forward and they want a corner, what young corner, what good corners are actually out there? Do they want to take the home run swing and go after Gardner or like a Denzel Ward or somebody? Or do they want to, try to grab like a I don't know, Alante Taylor from New Orleans? Or I don't know if L'Jarius Sneed was available from Tennessee, but again, that's an in-division type of thing. They clearly went with the home run swing. Absolutely insane last 3 hours. Brees isn't extending anyway. Franchise tag Brees. I don't like that idea because especially if he doesn't want to be here, but because running backs get paid so little compared to, QBs and wide receivers and whatnot, I don't mind just giving them the extension, right? Like James Cook just signed a 3-year, $30 million, $30+ million deal. It's not really that bad when you look at the impact that Cook is having. Quinnen Williams contract, that's completely doable. Josh Jacobs deal in Green Bay, like these aren't backbreakers. Especially with the cap going up too, the RB number doesn't really seem to be going up. Like it doesn't seem to be matching that rate. Yeah. See, I don't like the whole Twitter drama thing. Kat, you think we hire another defensive coordinator? Depends on the second half. Depends on the second half for sure, man. I appreciate the 2. But if we look like how we did against Cincy every week, maybe, probably. But if we can look like how we did against Carolina and Denver, then no. Can't believe we also got a second for Quinnen. That's, yeah, and a player too. It's crazy. Also, Dallas is not that great. Yeah, 15 minutes left, Will. 15 minutes left. We're strapping in. Here we go. 14 minutes. It's so strange too. Actually, I don't want to say it. I don't want to speak too soon, but let me actually quickly pop over to the Jets YouTube channel and see if they have a live stream set up for Darren Muji to meet with the media. I don't believe so. Yes, I don't believe so. Oh, hold on. What's today? November 4th. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe something happens, maybe not. But I would really, really want to hear from the general manager and Aaron Glenn about these 2 trades. False. Hall wants out narrative. You love Brees. Yeah, I mean, who knows, if that report was true or not. But we shall see, man. 13 minutes left. Does he get dealt? Does he stay? I don't know. They need to hit on the draft. Yeah, 100% fresh. 100%. You can't be doing like what we've been doing these past couple of years. I mean, past however many years, where you're missing on all these mid-round picks and whatnot. Because missing on a quarterback up at the top of the draft, like a lot of teams do it, not justifying it, but it's not like the Jets are the only team that does that. But you just can't continue to miss on the second and third rounders every year. Every year. It just puts your team in such a bind. At the end of the day, the NFL rewards teams for being bad. Here are free draft picks. In other words, dibs on good college players. And to keep things fair, to keep parity in the NFL, we're going to give the bad teams the first picks, and we're going to give the good teams the last picks. So, in like a typical NFL draft, like you probably have 75 to 100 players, 75 to like 115 players that I think, obviously some drafts are a lot more talented than that. Some drafts are a lot less. Think of like the 2013 draft class. Crazy. But I would say like 75 to 110 players are like that's the sweet spot of like the picks you want. Like if you can get a pick in that range, like 110 and up, that's like you're getting like you have a shot to actually get a contributor in one way or another, starter, rotation, something, right? And you just feel like like what is a second round pick? 33 through like 60 something, right? Like mid 60s. That's a high pick. That is a really high pick. You cannot be missing on these high picks because there's other teams that are picking players at 80, at 90, at 100 that are landing. So, yeah, they have to get it figured out, bottom line. Harlan, with Mazi Smith included in the deal, the Jets got younger on the D line for sure. Another high upside piece. Picks are nice, but you have to hit for sure. Brees to the Chiefs for first. Yeah, I would do that every day of the week. Who would want Clemens? Saleh, maybe. Ulbrich? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it, Jag, but I think because at the end of the day, the draft picks are simply an unknown. You're literally the only thing you're getting there are just rights to draft a college player. You don't know who's going to be on the board. You don't know how good of a player, or how good of a class it's going to be. You don't know that, right? No one knows that. I mean, GM should have an idea. I mean, it's their job, but I think if you look at how teams restart and rebuild, it's through the draft. Let's see. Per Josina Anderson, the word in league circles today has been that the Jets were looking for a 3 for Brees Hall and a 4 for linebacker Quincy Williams. Talks are always fluid in these times, though. Yeah, I mean, with the amount of injuries that the 49ers have, you got to imagine that. Because they keep on winning. Like, they're a 5-win team. 5 or 6-win team. 5-win team, I believe. Like, they're still fighting, man. They're still in it. Seattle's great, right? LA's great. But they're still in it. Like, I don't know. Like, that team is just so beat up. It just makes so much sense for Saleh to go get a player that he's worked well with before in the past. Do you think the teams are done trading? If it's about this time, I'm gonna say yeah, but it's not set in stone. As well as I didn't think Gardner was getting traded. I didn't even think that was a question. So who the heck knows? Not the Chiefs, yeah. One thing that would be interesting, I was talking about this with my brother yesterday too, is if the Jets acquire or if the Jets decide to trade Brees and we can get like, say we get like a mid-rounder from Kansas City. One player I love is Isaiah Pacheco. I know he's not like numbers wise the greatest player, but his running style, former Rutgers Scarlet Knight, like he is a bowling ball. I love Isaiah Pacheco. And it also gets us, a player at the running back position that we can actually utilize now and not wait until after the year. Let's see. Teams can still finalize trades after the deadline. I think it's like 5 to 15 minutes afterwards. But that's like the last bit, like the last, bit of the terms and stuff like that. And then of course from that point, it's like reporters then have to get that information and put it out. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, like with the player, because normally, like you feel like the deals that take a long time. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be submitted by 4. The deals that would, in theory, take a long time are the deals like Gardner and Quinnen, where you're talking first, you're talking big money players, you're talking big contracts, not like going back and forth for like a pick swap type of deal. In my opinion, but again, who knows? 6 minutes now, 6 minutes. Yeah, Chris, I think right now, early November, if Mendoza's there, I'm taking Mendoza. If he's on the board, I'm taking him. Initial reaction was I was angry, but putting thought into these are great moves. Yeah, man. I mean, I think we I understand it might not be a super popular thing to say, but I think Darren Muji did a great job today with just look, if we traded Gardner and Quinnen and got back like half of what we got, yeah, I might not be too happy. But dude, 5 picks in the first round over the next 2 years. That is how you rebuild a team. 2 second-round picks this year. We address the weakest position on the team with Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie. And then we go out and also get Mazi Smith from Dallas. Not saying that those players are, amazing, but they at least have hope to get better. So I love it. I absolutely love it. Skydive. Quinnen was almost 29 in the back end of the deal. We trade an aging first-round pick for a cheap young first-round pick, as well as a top 45 pick, and an upside stash at the same position. Good trade. I like that way of looking at it, man. I really like that way of looking at it. And also, too, like if Connor Hughes is right and Quinnen wants to leave, I do think there is something because like the NFL goes deep, like there's agents and people are connected here. If Darren Muji is having a frustrated Quinnen Williams, who's really been like the franchise player since 2019, if he's having Quinnen go to him and say, like, something's got to give here. I'm frustrated and I would like another opportunity. And Darren Muji does right by him and his agent and grants that no matter what the compensation looks like. That agent is probably going to have other clients and she's going to remember, what Darren Muji did right by a marquee household name in Quinnen Williams. Because think about it, right? If you are an agent, whether you're, mainly dealing with undrafted free agents coming out of the class, or you're dealing with first round picks, or whatever the case is, right? Undrafted or free agents on the unrestricted free agents on the open market, and you have a bad experience, or you're getting word from your player or your client that player is being mistreated, disrespected by that regime. And if you take the stance of the agent, Do you think that agent, say the following year, is going to look at the Jets? Say he or she has a client, um, and they have a contract offer from the New York Jets and the Baltimore Ravens. Do you think that agent would be inclined to persuade the Jets in any sort of way? Or if that player is maybe 50-50 on both, and he says, "Hey, agent X, sell me on the idea of both teams," but that agent has previous history knowing that that general manager is not either A, working in good faith, or B, trying to, again, maybe being disrespectful or holding players hostages, or however, whatever negative angle you want to take, like that stuff can impact future conversations, but maybe with something like this, if you want to take like this strange kind of, deep approach with it, maybe the agent moving forward, like this sends a message that Darren Muji, again, assuming Quinnen does in fact want out, or did in fact want out, that um, he's open to work with players and to really find what's best for both the New York Jets and that specific player. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Diego, holy crap, man. You're the absolute man. Absolute man. I don't even know what to say. And I'm trying to look here. I'm not seeing a question or anything. So if you have something, a comment, a question, or anything, please, please, please put it in the chat, man. Please do. Thank you. That is so, so, so generous, man. Really. Thank you so much. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Kat, outside of the quarterback positions, what do you think we need most? I was going to say wide receiver, man. D end, D end safety. I would say corner. I feel good. D tackle. I feel good. Linebacker. It's thin, but I feel okay about it. But I would say D end. Oh, you are going to the Browns game, man. Have fun. That should be a lot of fun, man. I'm jealous. I wish I was going with you. We got better and we got picks. Safety, edge depth, and wide receiver too. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that these wide receivers don't work out. There is a real chance of that, but there's a chance that they actually be good and be real. I mean, imagine if Mitchell has the same impact on the offense that Brownlee does on defense. Think about that, right? Crazy. Scott, Ian, thanks for the live stream, man. It was nice to listen second half of the workday. Dude, that's really, really cool, man. That means a lot, dude. That's awesome. Wait, trade. Saints trading Trevor Penning to Chargers. Literally at the last minute. Yeah. A lot of news. Trade for Burrow at the draft. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cincinnati would ever give up Burrow. Diego, dude, you're the man. I'm going to be live with Tyson at 7 too, so it should be a lot of fun. Brees is staying. AR, dude, that means a lot. That means a lot. Thank you so much. That's super generous, man. Yeah, Sauce finally got picks. Yeah, for real, AR. That's really, really cool. Really, really nice. Brees Hall, you are still in New York Jet. Yep. Quincy not being dealt is surprising. Yeah, so I guess, and so here's the deal, right? Because we're now beyond 4 p.m. You can start talking comp picks if these guys leave, if they don't resign, but it's not set in stone, right? Like we're probably talking 2027 fifth round picks, maybe a fourth or something for like Brees. I don't even know what Quincy would bring back, but yeah. Yeah, Andre. I wonder if he's put out any more tweets since then. But It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. I cannot wait to see the Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn presser. I cannot wait for it. When's the next one? I'm updating their thing now. Man, crazy deadline. I still can't even believe this. But yeah, guys, I'll be back on with Tyson later at 7. I will catch you guys then. I appreciate it. It was so fun streaming for 3 hours here. And I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you guys then. So yeah, until then, peace. And as always, go Jets.